All right, what is up, everybody? We are here alive and well for the Tuesday live stream. Hey, yo, if you're in the Midwest here with us, you maybe heard that we were supposed to be getting some, and I guess we can't assume for the whole Midwest, but they told us we were supposed to be getting some softball-sized hail today. Hey, yo, you heard us right there, chat. Softball. I mean, it got progressively worse over the course of the day. We're walking around the restaurant. It's like people are like, oh, are you going to be open later? The weather, like, I think we're going to get some hail. It might be, obviously hail's not ideal. It's like, oh, it might be kind of intense. It might be golf ball sized hail. Then it was like apple sized hail. Now we're moving into basketball sized hail by the end of the night. It's going to be bad, chat. It's going to be bad. It is what it is. I guess if you see, the distinct lack of damage to the roof as of right now, we are doing okay. And again, maybe we shouldn't joke, because if we're in the middle of the storm and it's happening out in the country, hey yo, then maybe they're getting the worst of it. Pause. But I guess I was like, we gotta see if that's some kind of record. Hey yo, I feel like softball-sized hail is starting to get to the biggest that we've ever seen. Largest hail ever recorded. Largest hail ever recorded was after Michigan won the national title, right? Hail to the victors. Hey, yo, chat. We're starting early. Vivian, South Dakota, 8 inches. That's it, chat. I got him. 1.94 pounds is what we're talking. Gargantuan hailstone. I guess it just depends, again, on what you're looking at. A total circumference of over 18 inches. I guess I feel like that is probably bigger than a softball. Hey, yo, can we say softball length? I guess circumference. Let's see, circumference. Is that a guy? I don't know. Let's see what we've got here for baseball. 12 inches for baseball. Okay, so or for a softball. So we are. Shout out to Vivian in South Dakota. I guess they have. Oh, what do we got? This guy with the tape measure right here. Hey, yo. Yeah, I guess we do have, video proof. Hey, yo, big South Dakota. I guess, hey, yo, we can't say big SD and video proof, but, Oh, Bangladesh, the heaviest hailstone, 2.25 pounds. I guess we don't necessarily have a, how does that work? It was thicker, but it wasn't as big. Pause. Hey, yo, we're in sketchy territory here to start, chat. It is what it is. But regardless, I thought hail was hail. I just thought hail was like water. It was ice. So if this is not as big, how is it way more? I guess maybe I guess we're going back to school, chat. It is what it is. Hey, yo, pause. But, okay, what are we talking about? The NBA playoffs, chat. We got to get back to this play-in game because it has been close. And our Charlotte Hornets, our Charlotte Hornets we're claiming them as Sam's team of the year because we can't necessarily, we have our own team. We have our own team, and make no mistake, we're very excited. This is as excited as we've been for a playoff run in basically forever. Hey, yo, I can't imagine. I guess the revenge playoffs in 13-14 was, exciting, the opportunity to get revenge. I mean, the playoffs, every playoffs with Duncan and Ginobili and Parker was exciting. You're at the expectation that you're going to be a competitive team. But like we talked about in the past, or on the last live stream, if we're talking about the individual players, when we started watching the Spurs, it was at that time sort of the collective group had obviously, Duncan had his prime MVP run at that point. It was still obviously an all-NBA level player, but in terms of the level of player in the league that at least I've individually rooted for going into a playoff run, Wemby'S, again, being arguably and I guess in conjunction with the team as well too, because like whereas the Kawhi in like 16-17 would have been, arguably a top 3, 4, 5 player in the league as well too, but the other 4 players were all in Golden State, so it was the league was a little bit unbalanced at that time. It is what it is, but regardless, our Eastern Conference team, the Charlotte Hornets, the 10 seed, I guess is, or is the Heat the 10 seed? The Charlotte got up to the 9 seed in the East. And I guess, hey, yo, this is why they're losing. We were about to say, how can Bam Adebayo score 83 points and then not get out of the play-in game? Did he get injured? I guess, spoiler alert, we don't have Prime. It is what it is. I guess, should we see if we can find them? We should IT cut the part out where we said we didn't have Prime because we're going to try to get the game up in the background. Hey, yo, it is what it is. We're not gonna, give away any sources or anything like that. But I guess if we just had to take a quick peek and see what was going on here, if by chance, it did happen to potentially be available. Oh, chat, yeah, we may have to do a little bit of looking. We may pause. Hey, yeah, we may have to do a little bit of a dive to see what we can find here. Hey, yo. But regardless, I guess for now we'll just have to keep an eye on the score, see what is going on occasionally, make sure it's going on. And, hey, obviously we'll be able, stay tuned to the Rem and Sam pod, we'll be able to lock into the other playoff games once they, get out of prime. But yeah, as of for now, as of tonight, we won't have the live basketball on the TVs in the background, but we still do have basketball. We're just only about 50 years off with the basketball that we do have. I guess we do have to shout out somebody real quick, a channel that we have been definitely watching a lot of lately. This guy has put together just like a crazy amount of NBA team full game playlists, if that makes sense. So let me get his channel pulled up here, and then you can see what we are talking about. But basically, any team, any time period, or any sort of major one is going to be represented on this channel here. Hey, yo, and I guess we got to get the name properly. You'll see when we pull it up here. I know already I'm searching it wrong. It is what it is, but I think we'll be able to find it. Oh, chat, this is why I didn't put the search in the live background. It is what it is. I'll have to, I guess, search it how I found it. That's probably the better way to get it up here. Oh, look at that, chat. Perfect. Found it the exact way we stumbled across it here. So let me see if we can get it on the screen and show you guys what we're talking about. Bam! Hey, yo, not Bam Adebayo, just the sound effect we were making there. Yeah, this guy, shout out. And this is, again, the @ here is BMC Calvin on YouTube, but the channel name is Just a Black Guy on YouTube, and he's got, as you see, a crazy amount of NBA playlists assembled here. So, like, again, literally anything you could think of, things that you didn't even think that you could think of, if that makes sense. But, I mean, and this is not starting in order. I guess maybe it's starting in order. Clippers, I guess, I don't know how he's got the playlist listed here, but, 1999 to 2001, Los Angeles Clippers, Lamar Odom, Corey Maggette, Quentin Richardson, Darius Miles, full games. You've got, a whole string of Clippers eras here. Obviously, Baron Davis, Blake Griffin, full games. If you keep going, of course, you'll find Lob City. Bob McAdoo era New York Knicks. You've got Gail Goodrich era Los Angeles Lakers. Goran Dragic and Hassan Whiteside era Miami Heat. And this was the fun part about scrolling through the playlist as well, too, is you don't always necessarily assign the era title to the teams and to the different versions of the team. But it is true, like every team that is playing right now is in an era. So again, obviously, some fan bases are going to admit to their era. The Denver Nuggets are going to be like, yes, we're in the Jamal Murray, but he's part of it. The Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon. I used to be the Michael Porter, but the Murray, Jokic, Gordon era is definitely something. Obviously, Denver's like, yes, this is the best that Denver basketball has ever been. New York basketball with their playoff success. The Brunson era, but even more specifically, maybe the last couple. Brunson and Randall there for a second. But now the Brunson Towns, the Brunson Bridges era, and, we'll see how long, I guess, that specific core continues as well, too. But you don't necessarily think of, there is one for the Brooklyn Nets where it's like the Brooklyn Nets Cam Thomas era, or, obviously like the Paolo Banchero era for Orlando. Like, that makes, sense. Obviously, he's like a franchise guy. But, and maybe the thing about it is, being in the moment as well, too. Like, some of the names haven't necessarily aged in, like, a classic way that some of the names have, if that makes sense. but like I guess, the Paolo Banchero, the Bam Adebayo, but the Cam Thomas of today, I mean, and Cam Thomas is obviously like a fun guy in the NBA. But then just to go back and look at like, okay, who was the Cam Thomas of back in the day? And it's like, 1973, Cam Thomas, Brooklyn Nets highlights. It's like, okay, I've never heard of this guy before, but apparently he was putting up a lot of points a game. And, and you get the whole highlight reel here as well. But there is some fun ones. The Scotty Barnes era in the Raptors, that does have an iconic sound to it as well, too. Obviously the face of Canadian basketball. Ayo, the Greg Ballard, Jeff Ruland era for the Washington Bullets, Jeff Malone, 1981 to 1987, 1980. I guess, and some eras are obviously, impressive. You got the George Mikan has got like an 8-year run here, but then what was that? Odom Clippers combo. You got 3 years of that specific sort of team here. So, again, it is very well organized, we should say, in terms of the cores of the teams that are assembled. The Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert Jazz era, obviously that's an iconic one. I think if you're 50 wins in the regular season pretty consistently, like that is an era. And, again, we're Donovan and Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. I mean, you could say the same thing for the Cavs in the East right now as well, too, the Donovan Mitchell era there. But, it is an era as well, too, because there is, I think, a significant amount of regular season success that is happening, and that is important for sure. But, just because they're not maybe in the tier 1 title contender every year, again, doesn't, I mean, every like we're saying, every era is an era. So just because it's not an era doesn't mean it's not an era. But, again, just because it's not a championship era as well, too. Like, obviously, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, they were competitive there. The OKC team, still going. New York, Bam for now. The Lakers post Magic a little bit, where you've got Worthy, I guess, still hanging around there. But more so, I'm thinking Nick Van Exel, Vlade Divac, Cedric Ceballos, full games. And I guess that does overlap with Magic as well, too, because I think he was 91, 92 the year that they were there against MJ in the finals. So that was a Magic MJ finals matchup. But what do we got for 61 to 73? The Philadelphia's, Hal Greer, Billy Cunningham, those are iconic, NBA names for sure. I want to say that Cunningham might have been on the 75 team. He might have been on the 50 team for sure. Maybe Hal Greer both. I guess we can check and see if they made the cut the next time. But, again, they have been, 75 for Billy Cunningham. Shout out. 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA. And I guess in some ways these were the more important, not the more important ones to make, but is it going to, because you think that the league is going to continue, of course, to add great star players. I mean, they will, obviously. So when we get to the 100th anniversary, we'll just have to see, I guess, how many guys are eligible. Maybe some of these guys won't make the cut, but maybe it will get easier, again, to make the cut, because the list is just going to keep getting more, is going to keep having more guys that are eligible for it. Like the 125, like that's, once you get to the 125, the 150, again, 150 years of the league, like the NFL is a little bit different because there's more players just in general, and, a little bit more diversity in the types of players. It's not just like, but if you did have to do like 150 years of the NFL and then rank, the 150 best quarterbacks in the league, like there have been, way more quarterbacks in the league. Like how many, have there been, there had to have been thousands of quarterbacks in the NFL. And I know that, obviously that is guys playing a couple of minutes, a couple of snaps. Are we saying how many quarterbacks have started? How many QBs have started in the NFL ever? Like, I feel like I guess there's not as many QBs as NBA players. Maybe receivers? Are there 15 receivers on a roster? Like 15 defensive backs and receivers? I don't know. But since 1970, there have been over 500 quarterbacks drafted. So have they all started? Obviously not. But, you get the undrafted ones as well, too. But I guess, maybe some research for another time. But either way, again, you imagine like the 125, again, guys like Hal Greer, Billy Cunningham are going to be still on the list. Was this today at the restaurant? It was either today or yesterday where they were doing I guess it was today, I think, where Fox Sports where Nick Wright's and Broussard's show on Fox Sports, they were doing an all-time guard ranking. I think it was them. I was just so baffled by the ranking. I guess not necessarily baffled, but just like okay, maybe we are getting there. Where they were having Shea like the 7th best guard of all time, and maybe we're jumping around from talking about eras as well too. But I couldn't see the graphic fully, but I just could tell that they had him ranked one spot above Bob Cousy. And I'm not gonna say that they're wrong, but I was like, that's just like the line where every guy just now all of a sudden becomes an all-time great guard. It's like you can officially just rank him above Bob Cousy. And it's like, okay, at some point we do have to, I don't know, we can start defending Bob Cousy, but we are going to have to start defending, like, I think the 50s and 60s basketball players a little bit. Because it's like, okay, I guess the era-specific thing is going to get a little egregious. Like, I get that Shea would probably go out there and cook Bob Cousy one-on-one, and it probably wouldn't be close. But, again, you have to give Bob Cousy his credit for the way that he dominated the league. At some point, it has to stop. So is Shea better right now all time than Bob Cousy? I don't know. What are we ready to say? But Shea has been a title winner and an MVP. Might win his second. We'll still say might. Last year there was that kind of hold out until the last second of like, oh, what might happen? Then it's just like, oh no, actually all the writers did just end up voting for Shea. Like, what's gonna happen? But so that might happen again this year, where it seems like, the conversation is, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Who's going to win? And then it's like, oh, actually, you guys are just all secretly made up your mind. You're voting for Shea anyways. And obviously, we're more salty this year as well, too, because, the Wemby is on the line. But, again, SG, I guess I meant to look up Cousy's resume. But 4 All-Stars, 3 All-NBAs for SGA. Does he have to get to 6 before he passes Cousy? I don't know. Wait, how do you spell this? We can't even spell this guy's name, Chad. Hey, yo, but you're watching us build the case in real time. It is what it is. Okay, maybe the page is locked up. Either it's the page or it's us. It was the page. Hey, yo, there we go. Shout out. We do know how to spell Bob Cousy's name, but that's only because we stopped at S. I was definitely going to go EY. It is what it is. So, Bob Cousy, 13-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, Chad. Hey, yo, it is what it is. Should we try to look this up and put these guys on blast? Hey, yo, Rem and Sam takes on Fox Sports. Let's see what we got here. I guess it would be probably Broussard being the basketball guy, Nick Wright, the football guy. I guess we'll see. Shout out. We'll see if we can spell Broussard's name right here. Broussard, all-time. I guess we'll just see if we can spell anything right here. Hey, yo, all-time guard ranking. Maybe it was him. We got a Reddit post from a couple of years ago. Facebook post 2021 top 5 guards. What's the name of the show that they're on? It seems like it's a pretty... Oh, First Things First. First Things First. Was it all-time point guards or all-time guards? I think it might have been all-time guards, because I think it did have MJ and Kobe on it. Maybe it was Cowherd. Hey, yo, we will find it. We will find who is disrespecting the old guard, literally. Hey, yo. It is what it is. We should have probably guessed Cowherd at the beginning. If it was going to be a crazy ranking, it would have been Colin Cowherd to blame. All-time guard ranking. It could be Chrome as well, too, is bad at loading this up. Yeah, there's nothing new that is showing on the initial results. Everything is older. Colin Cowherd ranks Ben Simmons as the 5th best player in the NBA from 8 years ago. Hey, yo, we'd have to go back and look. Obviously, was Ben Simmons the 5th best player in the NBA? He might have been the 5th best player in the NBA for like a December. And I mean, that is something. That is something. Do we have to do the who was the best player in the league for a month list at some point? That might be fun. But I guess, yeah, shout out Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy, I think, is still... We might just have to put him back up on the rankings, Chad. He's moving back up. Pause. Shout out to Bob Cousy. He didn't even know it. But we've been watching Blue Chips, so, a couple live streams. I guess we do have to admit we did fall off. Our attempt to break the world record for most consecutive days watching Blue Chips in a row did not play out. It is what it is. The problem is they put crossover with Anthony Mackie on Tubi, so it's like, okay, a different basketball movie. Oops, I just forgot to watch Blue Chips. Then the streak breaks. It is what it is. But speaking of basketball movies, they do also have Uncle Drew on YouTube right now. Just a little. We're just giving you YouTube PSAs right now. It is what it is. Shout out again to this channel where you have the NBA playlist. You can get your full games, your highlights, your NBA background entertainment for historic hoops. And you also, again, have Uncle Drew if you want to watch some newer basketball. I guess if you want to watch some older guys play some newer basketball. And I did just watch, well, that's probably actually why I recommended it to us, now that I think about it. But I did actually just watch the Uncle Drew. I was like, what are the odds? I just watched the Uncle Drew on YouTube the other day, and now all of a sudden I'm getting the movie. And I do, maybe we are getting YouTube to drop these movies free. They're just like, oh, he might want to watch Uncle Drew. Let's just drop it free for the people and see if he'll watch Uncle Drew. And I mean, guess what? We're putting it in the library. It is what it is. I guess we couldn't save it into the library next to Blue Chips and Deja Vu, but and Hoop Dreams. Well, just a whole I guess Deja Vu is not a basketball movie, but is it about a rebound? I don't know. We have to go back and check the plot there. But either way, I guess our YouTube is. The library is collecting, with basketball movies. So we'll see if we can figure out a way to add Uncle Drew in there. It is what it is. But I guess some of the other... Oh, here's the Cam Thomas era that we were saying. I guess, we're living it still. R.I.P. the Trae Young era, of course, ended this year in Atlanta. And that is the thing about, again, a guy like Trae Young. Like, I know that the narratives got a little bit not controversial, but the conversation about whether or not he was a franchise player, was definitely, it bore out in the trade market, in not necessarily a favorable way for that take. And he is still a guy that, as a main player, as a leader on offense, as a star sort of marketable guy, like, again, when he's on a team and he is playing, and, for better or worse as well, too, you do have to define it by him as an era. So, again, that has been, to some years, a little bit to his detriment, where it's like, you need to be a little bit more cognizant of the full team situation and, maybe not the heliocentric thing to the degree that it had been. But he started to move away from that in Atlanta. I just think that, the conversation at that point had seemed to be a little bit too far down the tracks, and there is contract stuff as well too. I'm sure, I think he's not a free agent this upcoming year. I don't know if he has a player option or not for this upcoming free agency, but he is, I think, a soon contract extension guy. So with them trying to build around Jalen Johnson, Recherche, some of the younger players, maybe it makes sense long term to pivot from the salary cap standpoint as well too. But and then you have LaMelo Ball right next to him as well too in the playlist here, and obviously they're doing okay tonight. Do we have to go back and check the score with Bam out? It was 10 minutes. Oh, Chet! Miami up by 2. Did Bam get subbed back in the game? It's a Davion Mitchell heat check. Hey, yo, I mean, he was on that Baylor team that won the national title, right? So is the play-in game similar? I'm not sure. But Wiggins as well. Like, it's just like, hey, some of those names that we forget about. I know that, again, we love this Hornets team. LaMelo 10 for 27 tonight. I mean, that's fine if they win the game, right? Then it all works out. But what's Knuppel? Knuppel 2 for 12, chat. 2 for 12 playoff. The nip slipped, chat. The nip slipped up. Hey, yo. Unfortunately, he can't hit a 3. We need the nipster to hit a 3, chat. Come on, Charlotte. I mean, we're not going to be bummed if Norm Powell, advances into the playoffs. He's back off the bench, 11 points, 5 for 9 tonight. But yeah, that is a little bit of an interesting thing for Charlotte. A little bit of a sigh of relief for the rest of the NBA as well too. It is annoying if another franchise just has a rookie that is immediately amazing. There's nothing wrong with great rookie performances, obviously. We love to see the new talent in the NBA. It's just fun to have, different players, new play styles, different highlight capabilities. If we were in the NFL, there is that fantasy aspect as well, too, where sometimes the uncovering sort of the hidden gem rookie is fun, where it's like, hey, people didn't know about this guy, but the next couple of years he's going to be a higher draft pick, and we were the first one that first year to really know about his game or something like that. Again, hey, we're pro rookie performance on the pod. It is what it is. Shout out to obviously the next generation every year, but you don't want them to be superstars if they get drafted to other franchises. You do want them to have moments where it's like, okay, there is room to get better, or if the room to get better is, realistic as well too. Because again, if Con Kneppel just went the entire season and had that 48, 43 shooting percentage the entire year, then it is like, okay, well, how does this get better? And I guess if you're Charlotte, is there like, has he picked as a player as a rookie? I don't know about that. But, it's just like, okay, if he does get better, I don't know if the field goal percentage itself is going to go drastically higher. I mean, he could get to like a 52, 44 or something like that. So that would be just a crazy uptick. But again, you're talking about those type of possibilities where it's like, is Con Kneppel going to be the most efficient offensive player in the league? And that still is a conversation. But it's like, okay, at least maybe next year, he can be normal. He'll be a normal offensive player next year. Maybe he won't be 30 a game. I mean, maybe he will be. And again, maybe he'll be awesome. In the last 241, and if they continue to go into the playoffs here, he'll be awesome. It is what it is. But again, it is a little bit like, okay, at least he is human. At least Con Kneppel is human. I don't know if that was a debate online. Is this man, it's like the Wemby, who are the aliens in the NBA? It's Wemby, Giannis, and Con Kneppel. These guys aren't human, chat. But I'm telling you, that accuracy, that efficiency is definitely, getting there. But shout out to Bridges, is looking like he is balling out tonight. Kobe White as well too has been a good spark for him off the bench on offense. So again, but it does look like Miami is pulling away here. 111 to 105 clutch minutes, chat. Another thing that has been a little bit, and 10 for 28 for LaMelo, 2 for 15 for 3. That's tough, chat. That is tough. Shout out Brandon Miller, 4 for 9. Brandon Miller, sneaky the guy in the playoff run that has been not the playoff run, but the regular season that has been maybe the more erratic three-point shooter, or just because he doesn't necessarily have the playmaking or the rest of the offensive game that LaMelo does have. It is what it is. Okay, he was 38% this year. We do have to give him credit. I guess he was a little bit higher there. 43% from the field. We're not going to find ways to criticize him to prove our point. If he's better than we thought, he's better than we thought. That's good. That's a good thing. Shout out Brandon Miller. We hope he has a great career. But again, at least he had a pretty good stat line from the field here. But what do we got? 2 for 21 from LaMelo and Kneppel. Trade them both, trade Con to the Spurs. That's what it's going to have to be. Con Kneppel for Giannis. Oh, chat, the offseason started already. Stay tuned to the Sam pod. Every team that gets eliminated from the playoffs, make no mistake, they're trading for Giannis. It is what it is. I don't know if we could, add that in as part of the simulation. But, I guess the LaMelo Ball, Con Kneppel, Brandon Miller era, is that what it's going to be? Or is this the LaMelo Ball era, and now we're entering into the Con Kneppel, Brandon Miller era? I would say that it's still the era of those three guys. And LaMelo, +7 tonight. In the box score. You love to see that. Kneppel -20. This is brutal, Chad. This is brutal. And again, it's a rookie performance. It's anything. This is the type of motivation that you need going into the offseason. I don't know if you need it. You'd probably rather be motivated to get the ring again. But either way, the motivation to take those steps forward is not a bad thing as well too. So it is 108 to 111. Do we have to? We're going old school, chat. Watching the play-by-play on the ESPN. It is what it is. I guess I don't know why it's not showing up here in the background. Let's see if we can get it loaded up. But chat. Okay, so I guess we can just we can just open it on the page that is loading. That would be probably the smart move to make. But yeah, we're gonna, I guess, not miss the last couple of times. ESPN's not gonna zoom through the last couple of seconds that quickly. But follow the game live. Yeah, Bam ruled out. Ayo limps off after tumble with ball. Whoa. Ayo. But yeah, I guess you're not gonna have your 83 point a game scorer to potentially close out the game. Oh, Chad, I hate to take a pivot real quick, but just because we're journalists and we have to keep up with what's going on with the news. Rossini resigns from Athletic following Vrabel picks. Right next to the ex-Michigan coach Moore of Orange Jones. Okay, back to the NBA playoffs, Chad. 112-108 with 28 seconds left. So a 2-score game. Did we get the Brandon Miller personal foul? Hawkes is closing out the game here at the free throw line. Grant Williams missed 3. Oh, Chad, I don't know. You love Grant Williams' sort of veteran energy sometimes that he brings to the roster, but is he the guy that you want taking the 3? Maybe tonight he is. Again, if Con Kneppel is 0 for 6 and LaMelo Ball is 2 for 15, then Grant Williams, fire away. But maybe Brandon Miller as well too. I guess Brandon Miller defensive rebound and then passed it back out to Grant Williams. I guess it wasn't instant because there's 20 seconds between the two instances. But, well, I guess defensive rebound. So he dribbles up and then pause. And then Grant Williams just takes the shot. It is what it is. And Bridges had just made a 25-footer right before that as well, too. So did Hawkes make? Did he miss? Misses 1 of 2. Ayo. So that keeps him a little bit more in range anyways. But, yeah, what was Grant Williams for on the night here? Going into that attempt, he was, Bridges 4 for 8. Grant Williams 1 for 5 himself. So he was 1 for 4. Ayo. So Ball, Knuppel, and Grant Williams, we've got a total of 3 for 26. From your main guys. I mean, they're 30% in general, 15 for 50, but 30% seems like kind of sustainable. Again, you have Bridges and Kobe White are both 4 for 8 and 4 for 6. Brandon Miller 4 for 9. So half the team is like playing well, and the other half is just completely ruining the game for him. It is what it is. The locker room is going to be tough. Oh, 1-point game. Hey, yo. Oh, Chad, I haven't done this in 20 years. I guess were we following the play-by-plays that long ago? Is it Miller? It's Brandon Miller and the assist from Bridges. Hey, yo, that's what they're going to have to do, Chet. They're going to have to freeze out the rest of the team. They're going to have to, go over right when they're going to the sideline. Brandon Miller and Bridges are just going to have to, give the little glances and be like, it's just going to have to be us taking the offense. We're just going to have to, take over at this point. It is what it is. We're going to have to somehow find a way to, once either of us gets the ball, we can only pass it to each other. Hey, yo. We gotta set some rules here for. Well, I guess if Kobe White enters the game for Grant Williams, makes sense. Zion James for Kalkbrenner with 28 seconds as well too. Miami 86 on the win percentage as of right now. But even if they foul, it goes to 3 points. So, like we're saying, I don't know. Are we zagging back, chat? Hey, yo, the guys that have been good have been good. So if it works, it obviously you can get a look for one of those guys. Maybe you do actually have some confidence in what is going on there. But we didn't unplug it, but I don't know if we lost it there for a second here. We'll move it around, pause, and then we'll definitely unplug it in the process there. But, yeah, the Dan Roundfield era? Is that what I'm seeing, chat? And John Drew? Oh, Damon Stoudemire as well, too. And shout out to Billy Buckets. We've been like a week texting. Actually, we have to send streaks, chat? Hey, yo. Oh, we got to double check that. Yes, we're going to get on the Snapchat. But, we've been just like the last week, I guess what is a male friendship if not talking about NBA players? But we've just been texting names of guys, It is what it is. So, hey, yo. But he's just like Baron Davis, Tracy McGrady, Dirk Nowitzki, Joe Johnson, Derrick Rose. It's just like, okay, again, this is great. But that can be a conversation. That literally is our conversation. We don't have to say any other words except for a player's name. And that's obviously, there's that meme that was going around a while back, and it probably still is floating around out there, but it was the guys can have a great time, just sitting around talking about old sports guys, just naming old sports guys, literally just sitting around and naming sports guys. Like, you would think, oh, they named the sports guy, and they're like, oh, you remember that? I remember that time he did that thing, and on the championship, and then he was at the goal line and dove. It's like, but you don't even have to get that detailed into the highlights and into the memories. You can literally just sit around and be like, Mike Vick, Ray Lewis, Peyton Manning, and you just have a good time just naming the names. It is what it is. But it's true. It also translates into texting. It also translates into texting. So we can use this as like a guide as well too. We're just gonna start saying Dan Roundfield, World Be Free. Oh, that is we should send him that one. That'd be a good one. But Damon Stoudemire as well too would be a good poll. The Kevin Martin era. Okay, wait a second. Let's go back. 14. What do we got? Tyler Hero making free throws. Okay, Hornets on timeout there. Oh, the Otis Birdsong era is about as iconic as you can get. The Buck Williams Otis Birdsong era goes, I guess, what do you have? 77 to 81 for Kansas City, and then 81 to 89 for the Nets. So 2 eras for Otis Birdsong. Hey, yo. The Kirk Heinrich, Luol Deng, Ben Gordon, Derrick Rose era. Iconic stuff, chat. Antonio McDyess as well, too. There's some training camp highlights in here if you want to watch those. Mitch Richmond for Sacramento. Have we scrolled past the page of Chris Webber, Mike Bibby era? But that is an era that we might be queuing up here pretty soon, because we're semi-cheering for Illinois, and not cheering for Illinois, but we had him picked in the bracket, so we were, hoping for our bracket success there. But we do also, like Peja's kid's game. He's a, very talented player for sure. So we were cheering for, his individual success in the tournament. But between watching Peja's kid, and then there was a picture going around of this Caitlin Clark bobblehead, and people were saying that again, it's just the bobblehead. It's just the way that the bobblehead turned out. You remember, people roasted the Dwayne Wade, Hall of Fame statue when it got made. But they were saying that this bobblehead of Caitlin Clark looked like Mike Bibby. It is what it is. And I don't think chat again. We're roasting the bobblehead company is really what it is. Let's see if we can, if we go Caitlin Clark and Mike Bibby, what happens here? Oh, yep, chat. Gemini is locked in. Oh, you can get yourself a Mike Bibby Indiana Fever bobblehead, chat. Hey, yo. And it's just the angle of, where they obviously are, how they have the bobblehead lined up here as well too, because I'm sure the ponytail situation is just cut off from how they have it pictured there. But when they put the name there, it is obviously funny. It is what it is. There's just no other way to say it. But between the Mike Bibby bobblehead and Peja's, and Stojakovic for Illinois, just watching a player named Stojakovic all year, and Michigan as well too. Like Chris Webber shouldn't be the third guy that we name from that Kings run. And you know what? We should probably, honestly, I can't believe I didn't even think to go Chris Webber Bullets or Chris Webber Warriors era, because again, everybody knows Chris Webber Kings era. But maybe some of those, kind of underrated early years as well too, or not underrated, but just the years that nobody talks about. So here we go, chat. Kobe White makes a 3, so it is working. It is working. Pause. Do we say the ballers are balling? But the guys that have been good on offense are actually lining up here. The Heat have challenged the call. And Charlotte actually flipped win percentage. Oh, Chad, Charlotte flipped it to 52. And then Miami is now back 52-3. But Zion James the assist. So once did they sub out LaMelo? They did. Diabate for Melo. They must have subbed out Knuppel as well too. Hey yo, it is what it is. So Charles Lee making the moves, going with the lineups. You know, you got to give Charlotte the depth for just the team building. Is MJ proud of his Charlotte Hornets for tying it up here in the play-in? I'm not sure. Is it overtime? Ooh, Chet, the Hornets live on. The Hornets live on. Diabate subbed in for Melo, 10 seconds. Wait, we got to refresh. Hero missed a three. And Miami actually outscored Charlotte in that fourth quarter overall. But Charlotte stormed back late. And, you know, third quarter push there was part of the reason that Charlotte had this game tied up at the end. But I guess it'll be interesting to see what his overtime lineup is. Does he go with the LaMelo struggling offense lineup, or does he go with because Kobe White is, hey, yo, LaMelo getting benched for Kobe White? It's matchups, chat. It's matchups. It's nothing against LaMelo Ball as a franchise player or a Final Five type guy, or can he lead a team to the playoffs? It's just the night that he's having against Miami, right? That's all it is. So, yeah, you know, we'll see if he entrusts him here in the fourth quarter. But like we're saying, Kobe White is a legit NBA guard. Like, as much as, you know, you obviously joke about what it would mean for him to get those minutes over LaMelo in a playoff-ish game like this. You know, LaMelo does still have, at least in the NBA, I would say some NBA fans' mindset, but, you know, at least here on the REMINGTOM pod, I would say we would probably have LaMelo's game as a higher upside than Kobe White's game. But again, on the right night, like if Kobe White's efficient, then he's not going to be taking away as much from other players, which can be nice as well too sometimes. But I mean, he's been 20 a game the last handful of years, and you know, is obviously a 20-point-a-game scorer still, probably just in a different role off the bench in Charlotte, and probably a little bit better as well too when you're that 20-point-a-game guy, but maybe they only need, you know, 16 from you at night. But tonight, obviously, a little bit different. It's 50-50 now, win percentage, I guess, going into overtime. No analytical advantage for either team at this point. But like we're saying, no Bam for Miami as well, too. So Charlotte, maybe they survive the worst of it there. It is what it is. And I guess we haven't necessarily pointed out any Charlotte eras that we've scrolled past. You know, Charlotte is a sneaky newer to the 90s. Well, that's because that's when they started. So, you know, 80s Charlotte basketball, 70s Hornets basketball. You know, am I mistaken, or is it just that bad? Was it that bad in the 70s that we can't even think about it? Bird and Magic at a charity event? What is this? 1986 Midsummer Night Magic's charity game? Hey, yo. So we've got 86, 87, 89, 90. Michael Jordan retired 52. Pippen's All-Star Classic charity game? He just had to remind him, chat. Hey, yo. A retired Michael Jordan at 31 pulling up to a Scottie Pippen game being like, that's right, I still got it. It is what it is. 52 points, 24 of 46. I think we might be watching this tonight. It is what it is. Should we throw this on next? Hey, yo. Right now, we haven't gotten to this point of the playlist yet. I think it's probably a little closer to the bottom. Again, shout out to at BMC Calvin on on YouTube. But what do we got for the playlist that we have up right now going is a Bob McAdoo era Buffalo Braves playlist. Hey, yo, what do you guys know about the Bob McAdoo Buffalo Braves era? Yeah, here we go. 1970 to 1979, Bob McAdoo, Randy Smith, and Bob Kaufman full games. Perfect. I mean, look at the jerseys, chat. Obviously, the style from the 70s is, you know, unmatched. You know, do we say is the you know, I guess we're probably not. I guess I don't know what we're allowed to talk about with NBA fashion. at the top of the game in a lot of ways. But Bob McAdoo in the Braves, and we've talked about that George Gervin Iceman poster so many times, but that powder blue that he has on in that Iceman poster, these NBA jerseys are actually the closest to that in real NBA jersey life. Are these Buffalo Brave jerseys? You know, the Spurs themselves never actually went. That was a Nike branding Iceman campaign. That was not like a Spurs jumpsuit situation. I mean, they definitely should. And now that I'm thinking about it, I can't believe we haven't done that yet. The powder blue Icemans. I mean, it would be a what do you say? A variation. It would be different than what we have done in the past. It would be a deviation. Again, I don't know if a deviation would be the right term as well too. Because is a deviation have to be bad, like a deviant? Hey yo, I don't know. Because, again, I think these jerseys would be amazing. We might have to design these jerseys. We might have to DM somebody on Instagram and be like, hey, can you just make up some powder blue Spurs jerseys for us? I just want to make the background of my phone these hypothetical powder blue Spurs jerseys. Hey, yo. Because those would be an absolute work of art. But I cannot think of anybody else that has had, you know, this color scheme. I guess maybe, like, there may be some Clippers. I guess the Braves actually were the Clippers, you know. Settle up in, I think, San Diego first, and then move there. But let's see, powder, and I guess, you know, again, for college basketball, of course, Tar Heels are of that colorway. Hey, yo. But it is, I guess the Denver Nuggets. It is different, though. Oh, those old school ones, though. Not the old school, the 2000s. The 2000s aren't necessarily old school, but a different type of old school. You know, there's old school for us, and then there's just old school in general. So you just throw, you know, you kind of throw them out interchange. There's old school for us, and then there's old school for you. You know, whatever old guys listening out there. I guess Memphis, but does the yellow from, I guess, Chad, we're going to speak positively on Memphis. Hey, shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies jerseys. These are the best jerseys in the history of basketball. Shout out to Memphis. You know, Memphis actually, you know what? The Titans, they should move to Memphis. I think that's what should happen. But also the Minneapolis Lakers as well too have had, and actually, you know, shout out to Memphis as well too. But and the Minneapolis Lakers are good. But yeah, I don't know, something about just the pure powder blue paws. The Jazz as well are definitely in that. I guess we do have these. Hey yo, I'm slacking, Chad. It is what it is. I guess last year we had these as the alternates. So these are, again, a little bit different. But were they Iceman specific? Maybe we just missed out on the branding. It is what it is. So shout out. I mean, it's good to see that people are paying homage. And it is pretty close, I think, to what it would end up being. Like, I don't know if you would have the Fiesta colorway touches pause with the orangey color in there. But, you know, again, the overall, that sort of powder blue vibe is actually what would be great. What is our alternate this year? Maybe it is this one. Hey yo, it is what it is. But regardless, shout out to the Buffalo Braves. That's what we have on right now. Right now we have on a 1976 April 18th, so almost an anniversary. We just, you know, very intentionally are watching the 50th anniversary of this game. Was it? I guess it would be April, so it'd be 75, 76 season. Oh, Bob McAdoo, he was second in MVP this year. Hey, yo, so he was first in MVP voting the year before. But April 18th versus Philly, I guess we'll check the stat line here and see what we got. Oh, this is playoff time. Hey, yo. So we are watching important basketball here for our guy McAdoo. I mean, he did end up being a part of Lakers teams that, yeah, two-time NBA champion that won championships. I guess, was he on the Celtics and Lakers that won championships, or just the Lakers? He might have won one for both, honestly. I guess we could double-check that as well, too. But wait a second. We got 76 playoffs against Philly. The 18th, a win in overtime, 123-124. So, I mean, this is a crazy dramatic game, similar to the play-in drama that we have right now. Again, Charlotte with what did we just say earlier? Nobody has powder blue. Again, it's teal for Charlotte. It's teal. And AO Charlotte, 123-118. You love to see it. What's the lineup? Is LaMelo's in the game? Hey, yo. So Charlotte's going to win in overtime, and LaMelo's going to be a part of the closing lineup. You love to see it, even after a 2 for 15 game. Even after a 2 for 15 game, even after a 2 for 16 game, he can still play well. And ended plus 17, though, from the field. So, or, plus 17 point differential scoring in the game. So it was clearly, up amongst them. Him and Kobe White were the most impactful players in the game. I guess that guard advantage that they would have over Miami, just Torch and Tyler Hero, is that what it was? Torch and Davion Mitchell, but again, Mitchell and I guess both those guys -10 were the. we got Hero moving to -8. Hey, yo, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. We're giving Charlotte the win. This is true drama chat. Hawkins at 40 minutes. I guess Davion Mitchell, 47 minutes. He's up there with Wilt. We got Bam matching Wilton points. Davion Mitchell matching Wilton minutes. Hey, yo, chat. Who's matching Wilton? Whoa, hey, okay. We don't. I guess we could probably find that out later. But we got 4 guys, 40 minutes for Miami. Again, the balance for Charlotte. Charlotte's got 43 for Bridges, LaMelo 39. But, still even into overtime, 35, 36, 34, 18 to 25 for Kobe White. There is the ability to, they just probably have a little bit more of a complete roster at this point. Or not more. Like Fontecchio. Where's White? Did Fontecchio get hurt as well, too? Is Fontecchio not built for tonight's game? What is Spoelstra doing? Maybe Spoelstra just got outcoached by Charles Lee a little bit. Who knows? Or maybe Fontecchio, he's saving him for the last couple minutes. Pause. And subbing him in late. I guess no Jovic has not entered the game. I guess he would be on the injury report if he was injured, right? But I can't think of, any other chess pieces that he might have at this point. Norm Powell, 19 minutes. Again, just who is he playing? It looks like it is like we're saying, a Wiggins, Ware, Mitchell, Jaquez, Hero lineup potentially. So we'll just obviously have to get a full rerun of the game after this Bob McAdoo Philly game. I guess we'll see how quickly League Pass gets that posted as well too. We might be able to fire up that game right away. But again, McAdoo was cooking in this game. 34. I mean, is this the best playoff series for McAdoo? You see, in the loss that they had was maybe it was just the Braves tied to his success again. He was an MVP as well too. So and it is fair as well too. Like when you're talking about the whole, of course, history, the whole legacy of the NBA, to again get specifics about the playoff accomplishments when you are talking about just individual comparisons for guys. Again, you're making the cases, you're having the debates. You have to talk about what the careers ended up being. But if you're a guy like McAdoo, again, it is a special thing when the team is literally tied to your success. And we were talking about that with Trae Young earlier, where it's like, okay, you have to define an era by him because of how he is able to dominate the team. I mean, McAdoo, maybe he gets a little bit into that at times in his career, but the high end of McAdoo, it's like, yeah, could he have been the best player on a title team? Hey, yo, again, Bill Simmons, Russillo, call him the reunion show. Hey, yo, that's what we'll do, chat. We'll ask them both a question about Bob McAdoo and get him to call in on the same day and then stage the reunion show live on the pod. We didn't mean to give away the game plan right there. IT's going to have to cut that out and save that for later, but that's it. That's the move because, as much as Russillo says that he doesn't like the Celtics, like the man likes the Celtics, and he definitely likes, old Celtics and just NBA history as well, too. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll be willing to talk about Bob McAdoo with the Rem and Sam pod. I'm sure. So we can get a call in. It'll be like old school New York radio. It'll be like Opie and Anthony or something. I don't know. Did they ever have two guys beefing at the same time, like get them in the studio, like book them at the same time, and they didn't realize it? Like, I mean, I guess, rest in peace. Maybe Patrice would have been beefing with somebody, but just to throw out names, did they ever have Patrice beefing with? I guess we're gonna have to go back and watch the show to know the cast of characters. I guess we just watch it we just watch it. Hey, we just listen to it for Patrice. So obviously that's the name that we remember. Oh, Norton, that's the other guy that I'm thinking of. Jim Norton. Like if Patrice and Jim Norton were beefing, did they ever stage a time where it's like, now we're gonna book him at the same time. I guess, but they always knew they were doing the show at the same time. It is what it is. See, that's what we have here, the element of surprise. Neither of them would assume that they'd be calling into this podcast. It is what it is. But they, they're like, oh, well, I guess we have to, talk about Bob McAdoo. We have to make sure that the NBA history lives on. But it's like if you were good enough to take your team to a title, and again, like Bob McAdoo's on the 75, he's in the Hall of Fame, so like there is a greatness associated with his name. Like I don't think people are disrespecting him, but I don't know if people are respecting him enough. Like that's the thing. The Rodney Dangerfield, right? No respect. No respect. Is that what it is? Hey, yo, why are we slipping with the comedy, chat? Why are we slipping with the comedy? We need to go back on the run. It is what it is. Well, Patrice O'Neal, Rodney Dangerfield, we're going to just be like living in the 70s. It is what it is. Bob McAdoo highlights and Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, yo, if we're not already, if we already are not an old timer enough, this is really gonna lock it in. But I mean, he had 3 years in a row of 30 a game, 30, 34, and 31, 25. Okay, and I really have no reason to. I guess I don't, want to. I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but again, I was born 20 plus years after Bob McAdoo was in the, I guess, from this season. So, by the time that he was out of the NBA, it is what it is. I don't even know if, I guess I'm not, we're not going to put our mom's birthday on blast. Shout out to our mom. We weren't going to bring it up, so just forget it. But, again, like obviously Bob McAdoo was playing a while ago. Is what we were saying, but and shout out obviously our like we're saying our mom's beautiful and awesome, and we're saying we wouldn't expose her birthday, but either way, back to Bob McAdoo. We were saying that like we're saying he is just randomly one of our favorite players, and I think it like legitimately is. You make fun of the non-basketball people for having those random associations with players where they're like, oh, I like his jersey, I like his whatever. But, if we're being honest as sports fans, it's random things like that as well, too. It's like, oh, yeah, I like the fact that they wore a part of blue jersey. I like the fact that guy wore an arm sleeve. Like his, I like his kit was cool. Like, oh, the arm sleeve headband combo. Like, oh, I guess he's one of my favorite players now. Oh, that guy is like an isolation mid-range scorer. Oh, I guess he's one. Oh, he had a crossover against a player that was really. I guess he's one of my favorite players now. It is what it is. It can't just be one of those random moments. And there's a old school basketball card that we have that was passed down, and it is amongst a collection. And Bob McAdoo was one of them. And I guess I don't know why, but that one always stood out. Maybe the McAdoo name as well too. It's like Bob McAdoo out here dropping 30 a game. Hey, like who is that guy? But again, he was balling, and the Buffalo Braves as well too. Like there's just something about it. There's something about there. You can just tell. I mean, you can tell when a guy is so cool that he has aura on a basketball card. Like I mean, again, Bob McAdoo. He might the strongest basketball card aura of all time. I might have to find the card. Hey, I know where it's at. We could find it. We could find it in 20 minutes. Can we take a 20-minute break on the pod? Hey, stay tuned. The next live stream, we're bringing the Bob McAdoo card, and we're bringing it up just right away, no context. It is what it is. I'm sure we could find it. Do we have to get a couple of, I guess, trading card? I guess we don't necessarily have to go basketball card. And again, it is a Braves one as well, too. So he has his Lakers era. He has his, I guess he played for all the big market teams. Lakers, Celtics, Knicks as well too. There's a couple of signed ones in here. I guess that's Kenny Smith. I was gonna say it's not that one, and it's definitely not that one because it's Kenny Smith. So yeah, Robert McAdoo. There you go. And he did have, I believe, I don't know if it was his son or like a nephew, but he did have a a descendant. AO, I guess. What do you say? He had somebody somebody in his family playing. Was it for North Carolina? It might have been his son or his grandson. Was James Michael McAdoo was definitely related to him, right? I guess what does it say here? It would say on his page, right? Because James Michael McAdoo was in the NBA. And that's another just great name as well, too. Again, Bob McAdoo, Robert Allen McAdoo Jr. But, Chad, that's even better than Bob McAdoo. But James Michael McAdoo is iconic as well. And did he win a national title? But he was pretty good. Whoa, two-time NBA champ. I guess he was, balling out there. Number 6 recruit in 2011. Yeah, so there was, obviously some buzz. Oh, Golden State won twice. I was gonna say, why didn't he win in 15-16? Oh, because of LeBron. See, LeBron even kept James. That's right. James Michael McAdoo was on those teams, wasn't he? They had everybody, Chad. They had everybody. They even had James Michael McAdoo. Hey, yo. 52% for his career. Philly kind of gave up on him early on, 28%, but some 50% there. Maybe James Michael McAdoo needed more run. 6'9", 230. He just, a couple years too early, Chad. 17, 18. James Michael McAdoo, power 3-and-D guy today. Pause, would have been, pretty valuable additive guy to some of these teams. But he's pretty good. 14 a game. I guess 10, 11, or 11, 12, and 13. I don't know if UNC did win a title in any of those years. I guess, it's not important. But the Braves do have, like an orange and black colorway as well too, almost like a Baltimore Orioles colorway. So I guess a little versatile there with their color schemes. There's Bob McAdoo, not James Michael. There's Bob McAdoo, North Carolina, and maybe it is just the North Carolina being one of those legacy schools that if you don't root for it, if you're not a fan of North Carolina, you probably hate North Carolina as a college basketball fan. The North Carolina powder blue is not good. If I ever see like that powder blue, whatever that sweater pattern is that they have, where it's like that, it's not plaid, but whatever that pattern is that they have on the side of their jerseys. If I ever see that out in the wild, it's like, oh, North Carolina, oh, that's disgusting. But the Buffalo Braves powder blue, now that is, something, a work of art. Oh, it might be something like this. This image, this pose is looking pretty close. It was definitely, just, do I want to say a basic? But it wasn't like a, special edition, 2015 minted old, new version of an old card. Like it's like just a legit out of the pack, old school basketball card. And I guess I don't remember what year it is from as well too. But hey, maybe on the next live stream we'll do a old school basketball card review. It is what it is, and go back to the stash. It'll be a surprise for me. Bob McAdoo playing for the Timberwolves in the 2000s. Hey, yo. Taking credit for Kevin Garnett's career, it looks like. I don't know what's going on here. But maybe there is just a Bob McAdoo thing going on. Okay, yeah, you see that? Oh, 2K? Oh, that's where we remember that from. I guess seeing that Bob McAdoo logo in 2K. But great 2K player as well, too. Buffalo Braves in 2K. See, I would get 2K just to run a game with Bob McAdoo again. Hey, yo. I don't know, pause, but either way. We would drop the Bucks. Hey, yo, pause. We would go in debt. To play a 2K game with Bob McAdoo's team, the Buffalo Braves. It is what it is. So I guess that's the game that we have on right now. Point being is shout out to Just a Black Guy on YouTube, and that's again the name that he chose to name his channel, and I'm just trying to shout out what his channel is and give credit to it because. This is just an incredible resource here. All of these games, all these playlists, all these players that we love. Like we're saying, we didn't, Joe Johnson, did we mention him earlier? I mean, the Moses Malone eras are going to be great to go through, but Moses Malone Rockets era is going to be great. I mean, hey, this is going to be, like we're saying, awesome. But that does make us want to do an eras check for the NBA as of right now. So, we do have... Like we said, we are going to try to do some playoff predictions as well, too. But after the break, we are going to do NBA eras check for the 25-26 season, maybe a little bit, before, give or take a couple of years, in honor of, like we're saying, our new favorite channel, this YouTube channel here that we've shouted out several times. It is what it is. So I guess, do we link it? Chat? We're just trying to... build the community out here of NBA fans, and this might be the best. I remember, and I think that how many do we just look up Free Dawkins now? We pocket watching Free Dawkins channel. Let's see what's going on over here. But I remember first stumbling across that, being a young lad looking for NBA highlights. Yeah, 2.53 milli now. Were we following that back in the 100Ks? I don't know. Obviously, ball is life as well, too. But, Free Dawkins, it is different. It's different when it was like a current running archive versus, the history of this. Where, and there are channels that obviously do have historic games. And there have been other ones that we've been stumbling across as well, too. But this is, I guess, one of the ones that we're shouting out for right now. So, as we continue to find them and uncover them as we need them. Like we said earlier, we had that playlist of 500 NBA games from the 90s alone that we were watching. So I'm sure there's 500 90s games in here. Just additive? I mean, pretty close. Definitely 500 games total. The Michael Ray Richardson era? I mean, I just want to watch that. Michael Ray Richardson, just again, speaking about aura, what a name. James Michael McAdoo as well. Oh, David Thompson and Dan Issel. Chad, I can't decide. Nate Thurman for San Francisco. Maybe it'll be easier to decide this era. This year we have Wemby. It is what it is. But when we come back, era check for this season and some playoff predictions and more right after the break. Oh, chat, we're so close. We're back, but the camera's not on. Well, okay, wait a second. Let me get the camera. I'll be right back. I gotta go. I think it's plugged in, but I guess we didn't turn it on. Hey, yo, I don't know what's going on there. Give us a second. Hey, yo, we're going. We're working on it. Just give me a second. Oh, it's powered off? IT. What's going on here? Hey, yo. We might have to try to find a little backup. Do we have a backup camera somewhere? I guess we're going to have to work on a... I guess, do we say a two-shot setup? Pause! Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Okay, we're powering back up here. Chat, it is what it is. We were going to do error check, but I guess give us a second. Give us a second here. Okay, are we good to go? Are we back? I think we are locked and loaded. Ready to go. Okay, there we are. Now we're actually back live and ready to go and ready for Era Check 25-26 because we already mentioned some earlier, some currently going, some that have, RIP that have ended. I guess we'll recap here in a second. But for starting with the rankings, we do have OKC, obviously the 1 seed. Easy to define it right now by the big three in Shea, Chet, and Jalen Williams. The question, I think, would be, of course, would it be just the Shea era long term? Would it be, again, the big three era for the next decade? Because they do have $1 billion, obviously just invested in, I think, those guys alone, if I'm not mistaken. Is that a rounded up? Is it like 800 million, and then with the other guys added in, it's like $1 billion roster? And, again, with all due respect to guys like, Lou Dort and Isaiah Hartenstein, and, in some ways those guys make up the era as well, too, as much as the star players. You need the entirety of, again, like we said with the Spurs, you've needed the performances from guys like Harrison Barnes off the bench, Luke Cornett being a solid role player when he's tasked with his minutes. Even Dylan Harper, he has that, I think, more star potential, being a number 2 pick in the draft. I think he has had that projection of being like a lead guard at some points in his evaluation as a prospect. But even as just him as like a valuable role guy contributing, Carter Bryant as a valuable role guy contributing, again, those guys make up the era. Like if you think about, if we're going back to the YouTube channel that we're talking about here, if we're thinking of like 2000 Spurs, guys like Bruce Bowen were just as important to the entirety of that Spurs run there. Even in individual seasons, you have like Steven Jackson passing through and helping out Robert Horry, being a part of those teams. Again, some guys obviously are there for a little bit more of, just individual seasons, a couple of years, whatever. But there a guy like Caruso as well, too, like we mentioned in the past, Yeah, we're stepping on the court here, Chet. He is a guy that, again, is just as important to this team's title success as the big three. But I guess, for now, it's safe to say that, and the thing would be Presti, obviously, like literally has never made a move unless it's presented to him. I'm trying to think if Presti has ever made a move himself in a way. Like you have, obviously, Durant leaving in free agency to go to Golden State. Golden State, they signed and traded him to Brooklyn. They got D'Angelo Russell back, but technically, I guess OKC didn't get anything for Durant. But again, it's not like, and the league was a little bit different at that time. It's not like players were requesting the trade because again, the Kawhi Leonard thing happens. The Kawhi Leonard thing happens while Durant is in Golden State as well too. So that whole cycle of him having the medical evaluation, drama there in San Antonio, and then the process of him obviously, requesting out because of that. And, do you say that that's the first domino to fall? But it seems like in the timeline, that's an early one for guys sort of demanding their way out, being unhappy with the situation, and, more so than just in that, obviously being a good situation as well too. So more so than just even like a tanking situation. Now it just, honestly, it's just like every couple of years, I guess I'm moving now. it is what it is. I guess I just want to, traveling the world is cool for these millennials. Traveling the country, hey yo. So they just be requesting trades. It is what it is. But again, Presti, I would say, would not make a move just because of I guess we would say, would Presti not make a move because of salary cap? He wouldn't anymore. I think that's a lesson that he has learned in the past. He says, don't value the salary cap over the basketball talent. So, obviously James Harden being the prime example there. But, I think for now he is obviously set with the era there. So, obviously, OKC era is easy to define. Like we said for Detroit, though, in the East, obviously Cade has been sort of the main face of the turnaround there for them being a 60-win team. But Duren has to get just as much credit as well, too. It has to be a Cade Duren era. I think it's just those two for now. Though, again, the role guys, Amen could definitely be a part of that for sure. And I could see him obviously being there long enough to be included in that run. Again, will he get to the level where he is? Because I think, like we were saying, Duren he's at least in All-NBA conversations. We'll see if he ends up with a third-team nod or, how... I guess we haven't been listening to basketball pods lately, but, I guess outside... does Life Advice count as a basketball pod? I guess it is a part of a basketball pod. Hey, shout out! But, like we're saying, I don't know necessarily what the national view on Duren is. There's no comparisons to Duren to George Mikan at that point. Is that the Bob Cousy for centers? If you're an all-time guard, you move up past George Mikan. Maybe we need to do the all-time legacy bar check. Hey yo, you've got Cousy for the guards and Mikan for the centers. At least are those two easy ones to point out. Classic old school white guys playing in the just that it's not even the black and white era, it's the black and white film era. It's loading up you can just hear the reel clicking on the highlights as they play. It's but that's our imitation of a reel clicking. But again, I would say Amen Thompson obviously making his case, even Holland as well too. Dennis Jenkins, is it going to be the Dennis Jenkins, Cade Cunningham, Amen or Jalen Duren era? It might be. But at least those two guys, Tatum and Brown for Boston, you don't even have to question it. Again, the role guys that they have now, there's been different versions of the team around them. But regardless, it's Tatum and Brown. Horford's been that consistent third guy for them in the past. Now it's more like Derek White being that third guy. Peyton Pritchard has ascended to a different level of contributor for the team. But, like we're saying, pretty easy to define there. For San Antonio, Wemby, Castle, and then like we were saying, Harper obviously has a chance to be, and I guess Fox for now, and he is signed to the contract for the next couple of years. So we'll have to see. Again, the offseason will be interesting. I guess, like we were saying, every team that gets eliminated in the playoffs this year will be saying what they will trade for Giannis. So I guess the question will be, will it be the Spurs, being them eliminated from the playoffs, or them, ending the playoffs? If you get what we're saying there by not trying to jinx it too much. But, regardless, I think either way, I guess the point is, once the playoffs end, the question is, whether or not you trade for Giannis. Is De'Aaron Fox playing for his future for San Antonio with this playoff run? I don't know if that's too dramatic to say, for him being a pretty important part of a 62-win team. But again, regardless, long term, again, Dylan Harper does have that legitimate lead guard potential. Even if we didn't have Castle, we wouldn't be as competitive this year if it was De'Aaron Fox as the guard next to Castle and then kind of Harper as the second guard there. But again, Harper just the third guard off the bench term. If it was Harper and Wemby as the guard center combo in San Antonio, you're looking at that as hey, that's just that's a great foundational core to be building around going forward. Again, has Dylan Harper has been basically just the talent that he's displayed this year. Again, has his efficiency, have his numbers been as to the level as Con Kneppel? I get the case for this year, but regardless, he has clearly shown the long-term upside for this draft. It's, Cooper Flag number 1 still fair for sure. But, outside of that, San Antonio pretty much made the right pick there, obviously, with taking Dylan Harper. Even with the way Ace Bailey was looking in Summer League there for a second, his Rutgers teammate, again, it does seem we are very happy with the pick. But regardless, he is the other guard next to Castle in theory. So, but, that could be the era as well, too. We hope so, anyways, for the upcoming future. Denver, like we said, sneaky, though. Aaron Gordon did take that, I think has now officially taken the Michael Porter Jr. spot. I think has it only been 1 year since he's actually been officially off the roster? Is this his first year in Brooklyn? And let's see, has Aaron Gordon even been in Denver more years than Orlando? But as I say, yeah, he's been in the league for 11 years now. So he is sneaky, like a veteran guy. Still obviously super productive. The athleticism is still there. Hey, shout out to Zeke Naji. I guess we didn't mean to click on his player page. But, shout out. Anyways, I guess way off from Aaron Gordon. But here we go. Year 11 for years. So 7 for Orlando, 6 for 6 for Denver, 7 for Orlando. Oh, chat, we're bringing it back. 6-7. No, I don't think we're going to be the ones to start that trend again. But, he has, I guess, point being, it's been as close, anyways, to as it's been in Orlando. And you do have a rookie season there of, not minimal production, but, taking his time to work his way into the roster. And just that whole Orlando run, obviously, the team success, obviously have title in Denver, but the team success just season to season, nowhere close to what he's had as well, too. So wins, points. I think it's pretty safe to say that he's cleared the Orlando run at this point with his career. And Denver, look at his numbers. And again, the Jokic bump, I'm sure has helped, but he's been just genuinely a better player as well, too. genuinely a really good producer for this team. But he has been 53% from the field in Denver, 47% in Orlando. So, 13 a game in Orlando, some little bit more volume, and, almost 15 a game in Denver there. But yeah, he was just, even with Porter Jr. on the team going back to that title run, just more integral in that lineup directly than Porter was in those lineups. They were literally having lineups where they were having him on the bench, Porter Jr., and Bruce Brown was taking some of those final 5 minutes for that series against Miami. They have his nickname for Aaron Gordon on Basketball Reference literally as Mr. Nugget. So I don't know if that's a pause, but, again, Michael Porter Jr. has only been in Brooklyn for the one season, and it almost has felt like a Michael Porter era in Brooklyn in some ways. And, again, there have been some years where he wasn't necessarily playing as much as well, too, in Denver there. So 6 years in Denver for Porter Jr., 6 years in Denver for Aaron Gordon. But, yeah, again, I think it goes Jokic, Murray, and then Gordon gets included as well, too. Maybe you say it just because of the name value, again, that Porter Jr. had when he was drafted, and, still has been, I don't know how, but still has somehow managed to keep his name relevant. Obviously, a basketball talent for sure. But is there other reasons why people have been talking about Porter Jr., over the past year or two? I'm not exactly sure. Jonte, is that what we mean? Or, Michael Porter as well, too. Just taking down the whole Porter Jr. family. Pause. It is what it is. I guess we did say New York earlier. Obviously, the Brunson era has been, arguably the most successful era that they've had since the title era. That's, again, arguably, because we're not going to overlook the Melo era. I think that as much as you do have that projection of what, because that can happen, of course, all the time. It happens all the time. It's literally happening right now. I'm sure San Antonio, we're looking at Wemby being like, this guy's going to be the greatest Spur of all time. Tim Duncan has 5 titles. If Wemby wins 2 titles in his career, that's majorly successful. What's the list of, NBA guys that have 2 titles? And with his, obviously he was like, okay, Magic and LeBron and MJ and Kareem and all these guys have a lot. I get it. But still, at the end of the day, that's still more than, what do we start throwing? We don't immediately mean to bring up Charles Barkley. Hey, Dirk, Durant has 2 titles. What Steph has, I guess Steph has 4. I guess Steph is one of the greatest players of all time, I guess. But, again, Wemby, with his impact on the game, could, have one of the great careers of all time and win 2 titles, and it's still, half of what Tim Duncan was able to accomplish in the playoffs. So, again, there is that just that future the future is everything sort of mentality. Is that a quote that we're just making up? But, I guess if we are making it up, there is that future is everything mentality that you do get with the, it's the positive side of any relationship that you have in sports, outside of sports, in entertainment, acting as well, too. It's like, is this guy going to be the greatest actor of all time? This guy's going to have the greatest career of all time. And it's like, well, Denzel made like 25 amazing movies in a row. Like, how many movies in a row that is, and how many great performances that in a row that is. Like, just rip that off. That's again, you actually have to, you can't just say that, and then I guess you can, obviously, but obviously you look back, it's difficult to get there. It's difficult to get there, and you can still have a great career and not necessarily, again, still get to certain levels of the legacy type stuff. I guess the point is, maybe to scale it back a little bit, Brunson versus Carmelo Anthony. The point is, he's taken that New York team to the conference championship game. He has had more, if you want to say playoff series success, going farther in the playoffs than Carmelo. I don't know if you would say at this point that he's had more playoff success. Like, I guess, again, could you make the case wins? No, I get it. But also, Carmelo Anthony was playing LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh on one team. And then it's like, okay, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen on another team. It's like, okay, who's Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith? Hey, yo. Like, it's like, okay, well, LeBron took J.R. It's like LeBron's LeBron. Like, LeBron's the second greatest player of all time and literally lost a finals game on his literally LeBron lost his greatest game of all time because of J.R. Smith, and J.R. Smith was the second best guy on Carmelo Anthony's team, and J.R. Smith is good. I don't mean to say, I guess, IT, cut that out, because I don't, I don't want to, the one time we bring up J.R. Smith in a while to be not in a positive light. And, J.R. Smith, unfortunately, he's just on the level of, or just on the line, I think, of getting into the era title. Like, if you had to have another guy in that New York era, it might be J.R. Smith, because Amari, unfortunately, the career was a little bit shortened there for the impact in that New York run. But, like, the Jeremy Lin Sanity run is obviously like would some basketball people say the great? I mean, I'm not going to argue against it being, the greatest New York basketball moment of the era. But, again, you can't take away from what Melo was doing balling out there in his 7 years in New York, 24 a game, MVP votes as well too for a couple seasons there. But I guess what is Steve Novak as well too. Like, the teams were, and it's comparative to the league at the time as well, but the teams were a little bit weaker going back and looking at it than maybe you think. The Denver teams, those were strong for sure. And there's definitely a couple of those playoff years where, maybe just the matchups against Kobe, where Kobe, the veteran, Melo a little younger at that point in his career. If Melo had been in more of his New York years at that point, because I do think like a veteran New York Melo on those Denver teams, I mean, just again, a better, more veteran version of him at any point is going to be, Team USA, Melo, like, what's the best version of Melo? And then just put him on a team. It's obviously going to be better, but, pause. But, again, like, that version of him, I think would have gone toe-to-toe with Kobe, and, obviously they did anyways. But maybe they would have actually been able to get the win. And you have Pau Gasol playing great as well, too, against guys like Kenyon Martin and, was Camby on those teams as well, too? Nene. So, other guys for the Lakers contributing as well that were super important. But regardless, I don't know if you could fully say that. I guess maybe for us that the Brunson, but, like, Brunson is super popular as well, too. Like, he is the jersey sale rate for Brunson. I guess he just, again, the vibe on the street. Like, Melo's, like, legitimately one of those popular. So it's close. It's close. I think he's still... he's only 4 years in New York at this point. Like, again, it was the projection of, like, oh, is this team going to... If Brunson takes this team to the finals, then, it's like, obviously he becomes the greatest Knick since Willis Reed. And maybe, the greatest ever? I don't know. If he is the lead guy for a title team, am I missing somebody? Pat Ewing? Who is the greatest New York Knick of all time? It's probably Walt Frazier, right? Or some guy before that I'm not thinking of. But those are the guys that have won the title for New York, were, of course, Frazier and Reed. And I don't know who you would necessarily put higher on the all-time rankings, because I guess hot take, center and guard are both stacked from all-time standpoint. Walt Frazier might be higher up on the all-time rankings. I don't know if we were talking about that on the one-on, we were doing like a NBA, one-on-one pause matchup sort of conversation a couple live streams back. And I know we did bring up Walt Frazier, and I don't remember if we brought him up versus Shea or not. But like, I don't, and maybe you can say Shea is just better than Walt Frazier at this point, or is like past him from a legacy standpoint. But I don't know, can you just start saying that these guys are better than these guys? Like, maybe he will be, but wait for it. Hey, yo, like, pause, like, let it happen. Like, let's pay respects to the legacies as they accumulate. 2-time NBA champ for our guy Walt Frazier. Obviously, Willis Reed, I guess, was the Finals MVPs for those, so at least in those series, was awesome as well too. But 7 All-Stars, 6 All-NBAs, 7 All-Defenses for Clyde, 19 6-6, and 6'4", 200. So again, it's not like some of the guys, like, again, like, is Kuzi the classic guy, like, oh, he's gonna get punked in the modern era, like, Pat Beverly is gonna lock up Bob Cousy in the modern day, but it's like Walt Frazier is gonna guard anybody from any era. Like 6'4", 200, like Walt Frazier's a receiver, like Deebo Samuel out there. Hey, yo, like one of the great defenders of all time. Like, Walt Frazier is clamping up Shea. I gotta go back and we gotta go pull up the ChatGPT history here. Did we do this one-on-one matchup already? Pause. Hey, yo, do we have to? Maybe this is our new way to establish legacy rankings. If you can't defeat Walt Frazier in a ChatGPT simulation, then then you can't necessarily be better than him all time. It is what it is. So again, there are still some names just because he didn't score 20 a game. Like, I guess Shea is on the other end where it's like, pause, like, he's 30 a game. So it's like, okay, the offensive is like at a different level. It's not necessarily just that era specific. What do you say, like Austin Reeves? I don't know. Again, it's a little bit of a different comparison there as well. Maybe get a little bit more of an era specific, 24, 25. Just because Jeremy Grant scores more points than Walt Frazier, I'm telling you right now, Walt Frazier is cooking Jeremy Grant in one-on-one. It is what it is. How tall is Jeremy Grant? I mean, if Jeremy Grant's like 6'9", pause, maybe he can potentially have a argument there, but I don't know if his post-up game is even like that crazy to be able to. I mean, we're not, shout out. The legacies are, I think, pretty clear at this point. Walt Frazier's first 9 years versus Jeremy Grant's first, or 12. Walt Frazier's 12 years versus Jeremy Grant's 12 years. I think there's, with all due respect to Jeremy Grant, no debate. But regardless, 6'7", 213. Hey, yo, we are bringing it back, chat. Houston Jeremy Grant. Hey, yo, Houston Grant. Shout out. Respect if you want to go by Jeremy, that's great. But Houston Jeremy Grant, shout out, great name all the way around. Rem and Sam approved. It is what it is. But all the Grants, great names, chat. It is what it is. But what are we saying? Walt Frazier's clamping him up either way. Jaron, was there a Jirai? Hey, yo, I guess I don't necessarily remember his playing days, but either way, shout out the great Walt Frazier. We're keeping the legacy of Walt Frazier alive. We're keeping the legacy of Bob Cousy alive. They're both better all time than Shea. And Shea, that's no disrespect. If you want to call in and defend yourself. And again, we're not cutting your career off right now and saying that you're never going to be better than any of those guys. It's just, again, if you want to make the one-on-one case, hey, yo, it is what it is. But not with Walt Frazier. Walt Frazier, I guess we gotta find I gotta find a Walt Frazier versus like Oscar Robertson. I'm watching Walt Frazier highlights next, chat. Hey, yo, let's see if we can find this here in this YouTube channel that we were shouting out earlier. Can we find Walt Frazier, Willis Reed era highlights in here? This will be again, we do have the Brunson, Towns, OG Anunoby era, the Sonny Lee inspired era. New York Knicks. Hey, yo, we tried lightly, but okay, we do have Allen Houston and Charles Speedwell. We could resort to them losing the finals against the Spurs if we need to watch, if we just have to watch some New York basketball, I guess. It is what it is. And I guess that Michael Ray Richardson era was close enough. Hey, yo, right? 79 to 82, though, that is getting close, I feel like. When was it 60s and 70s? I think it was 60. It might have been like 69. pause that, well, I guess here, we were just on Walt Frazier's page. So let's go back and see what year he won the title. Quickly, again, becoming an icon for the pod. It is what it is. But let's see, Walt Frazier. We got to get him to call in, chat. It is what it is. That'd be iconic. Is Walt Frazier going to the top pause of the call-in list? Hey, yo, clear the lines. If you're on the line and Walt Frazier calls in, we're sorry, but you're getting bumped for Walt Frazier. It is what it is. We got to ask him about, a couple of questions about the suits, a couple of questions about the playing days, and a couple of questions about whether or not he'd lock up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's the first question. How many of these guys in the league you clamping up? Hey, yo, you telling me that Walt Frazier's not destroying all these guys? It is what... he's the best guard in the league, chat. Walt Frazier, if he was playing today, he would be the best guard in the league. Luka Doncic would not score a point. Who's that? Again, shout out to anybody that defends Tim Duncan. But there's that guy that's been, defending Tim. That's like he's just like, okay, Tim Duncan doesn't have to be the stereotype boring basketball fan player. Like, can we pick another guy? But it's like, okay, if I want to defend boring old school basketball, I'm gonna talk about Tim Duncan. But he's like, oh, and this Bernard King photo as well too. This is up there with the George Gervin photo that we were talking about. Bernard King in the literal king getup, the crown, the cape. Oh, chat. Hey, yo, that's as good as it gets right there. I mean, that again, if he was a Spurs player, that would be the only thing that would probably make it look a little bit better. The Bernard King getup in the powder blue would be pretty sick, or the Fiesta. Hey, yo, I guess we might have scrolled past it here, and I could just search Walt Frazier era. Here we go. Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, 64-77. Boom, perfect. We can watch these. This will be on later down. Okay, we got some 40 minutes, some 20 minutes. I guess some condensed games. We'll be able to rip through this playlist a little bit earlier. I guess shout out to rare NBA footage as well too, because it looks like a lot of these videos are posted via that. And then just a collection of other random channels. So again, you can obviously via this channel that we're talking about that has these playlists assembled, find these other channels that maybe link you to some other games. But if you're really invested, but it does look like, it is also, doing a good job of really, putting in the work to get every game in here. We've got a Jerry West 1972 finals game. Did they make another finals as well? So was there 3 finals in there for Clyde? No, 72-73 was the win, yeah. 69-70 was the first one there. We have Knicks versus Bucks. Oh, this is it, chat. This is it. Auto playing right into a Knicks versus Bullets game. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Knicks versus Bucks, 1970-1971. Oh, man, chat. We are going to be, sleeping well tonight. It is what it is. But shout out to Walt Frazier. Should we get to the playoff sim? Hey, yo. We've got to at least try to get playoff predictions at some point. Are we done with era check? Hey, yo. We've got to, I guess, quickly finish up era check. It is what it is. The undecided era check of now we actually getting to the point where we don't even know. It is what it is. All the teams that are good actually, know who their cores are. Donovan, even again, like the Cavs at the 4 seed, like Mitchell and Mobley, the Mitchell Mobley era, it was Mitchell Mobley Garland. Like you do have to put that as an era, as maybe a couple years as it was. And I don't know if James Harden will be an era guy for this team. He's been, well, I guess you do kind of have to say, do you say the Kawhi era or the Kawhi Paul George era and then the Kawhi James Harden era and then separate them both? Or is it, again, just all the Kawhi era? The Steve Ballmer era? The post-Shea era? It might just be the post-Shea era for the Clippers as well, too. Again, Houston bringing in Durant. They were setting themselves up for the Sven-Gun Thompson era. And I don't know if that makes it one of those things where, and Durant has a whole nother, of course, set of storylines about bringing him into a roster. I mean, a whole set of great storylines about you're getting one of the great scorers in NBA history, and that's easy enough to just say, well, perfect, let's add him to the team. But maybe there is something to a guy that does this go to the Giannis point? Like if San Antonio were to say, trade De'Aaron Fox for Giannis, And now I'm speaking honestly now because now I'm making a pro De'Aaron Fox case. Hey, yo, if we were to trade him there, there could definitely be the Wemby Castle Giannis era where Giannis has like a 4 or 5 year run in San Antonio. That's awesome. But is it more likely that it's like a little bit of Durant-ish where it feels like that veteran kind of put into that young core, and I don't know, there just is a little, not too detached at times, but again, from the era part of it does make sense if you think, oh yeah, Thompson and Sven and those guys there for, a handful of years. And that maybe just, again, is the uncertainty of Durant as well, too, of how many, is he going to be there for 2 years? And then what all of a sudden are you going to have to do to, the trade value back versus what you traded for him? And, it seems like maybe you can get some picks back, but, again, at this point in his career, just, who knows what that would even look like. Obviously still great, but, again, the Durant, Thompson, Sven era could be really productive, but maybe from a team building standpoint, the Thompson Sven era would have been better. I don't know, but again, you're not going to be the 5th seed in the West with Thompson and Sven, right? I don't think so, because Durant has been, again, like an All NBA guy this season, so he's also been great for this team. But at Minnesota, the Edwards Randall era, is it the Edwards Gobert era in Minnesota? How many years in Minnesota? How many years has Rudy Gobert been in Minnesota now? At this point, I guess kind of, on that same timeline as Mitchell as well too. But Mitchell's like in a second contract with the team. 4 years in Minnesota. So yeah, not quite Rudy Gobert era yet, but it could get there if he goes like 7 or 8 years in Minnesota with Anthony Edwards. And again, like Karl Anthony Towns getting traded, you are going to have, I guess, a Karl Towns era as a part of that, but really it's a Edwards Gobert era. And oh man, Connolly, still, is that going to be the ultimate? They just never won the title because of that trade. Hey, yo, I mean, that Edwards, we literally said it when the trade happened. Like Edwards is one of the few guys that you could have on your roster where you're just like, okay, not to say that we can make a bad trade, but if a franchise were to have a guy that could make up for a bad trade, it would be Anthony Edwards. And maybe that's not even, maybe there's just nobody that can make up for a bad trade. Maybe that would be the case. Who's to say? But Phoenix, I guess are they eraless right now? Is the Devin Booker era for his tenure. Like, it's Devin Booker's franchise. But the fact that they just traded Durant, like, you do have that kind of 2-year Durant run there. You had the Booker-Chris Paul era. So I feel like those are kind of distinct in the Booker run. And then the pre-Chris Paul era for Booker is a little kind of eraless as well, too. I don't think there's just a Devin Booker, like, 2016 to 2019 highlight playlist here. I think he did have the 70-point game in some of those early Suns years, but, for the most part, those were kind of depressing years. I mean, they were competitive, but, they were obviously not like a top-tier playoff team by any means. I mean, they're still a 7 seed right now, but, and the Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks era is fine. The Devin Booker, Colin Gillespie era, I mean, Iguodala as well, Mark Williams. Again, they have, obviously the Suns are like a smart basketball team. It just hasn't worked they've been the smartest basketball team for 20 years. It hasn't worked. It is what it is. But we said, of course, the Paolo Franz era, the Jalen Suggs era, like we were mentioning on the last live stream, if we're really talking about the success of the team, it seems like, is the Jalen Suggs era. I think the Sixers, of course, have moved from the Embiid era into the Maxey era. I guess the playlists are titled up to 2026 because that's just the present, but he doesn't have it titled like and continuing. It's not like Embiid's, he does have Embiid labeled to 2026, but do you put it at 2025? Hey, yo. Chat, we hate to do it, then pause. Would it have been 2024? When was that playoff series against Boston? Because that might have been, unfortunately, the end of the Embiid era. It is what it is. We did mention Charlotte earlier, if it's, what the era for LaMelo is there. But it is, I guess, the Bam Adebayo era in Miami. I mean, now officially it is with the 83-point game. But even so, before it was the Jimmy Butler and then Bam Adebayo era at that time. But now, and it has been, I guess, and Butler, just because of the playoff success and Butler kind of being in and out of the regular season as well too. Like it is definitely Bam Adebayo being a strong Bam Adebayo era contender there. But as of right now, going forward, because still they do have a good collection of talent for sure. But again, nobody that seems at this point quite like nobody to take the mantle from Bam as the franchise guy is what we were saying. Giannis is currently trying to end the Giannis Milwaukee era. So we don't know what the Giannis era is going to be next. But hopefully, again, it's not Giannis for Chet in the offseason. That is, I guess, our worst fear. Giannis to Detroit would not be bad. Or, again, Giannis for Charlotte, like we're saying, is, I guess, do we even... Oh, Charlotte... Oh, they won by 1 point. Whoa. Hey, yo. So, Spoelstra, shout out, going home early is tough for the best coach in the league. But Charles Lee gets Miami from the 10th place game into the 7th and 8th place game. So Charlotte's still not even guaranteed to make the playoffs, but Miami is going home. So will Miami trade for Bam? Or hey, will they trade for Bam? Will they trade for Giannis? I guess is the point. It probably wouldn't be Bam. Well, he was 3 for 3 tonight. They would have won, Chad. He would have cooked them. Hey, yo. Bam was going for 90. Bam would have had 90 in a play-in game. It wouldn't even have existed as well, too. Speaking of where's the footage, where's the box score for the play-in games? But Davion Mitchell, 28. Tyler Hero, 23. Wiggins, 27. One of, I guess, his better box score games as well, too. At least some of the other guys showed up there. Ware, 5 for 12. 19 rebounds, though, for Ware is definitely something. And 5 blocks. So, maybe, okay, so he's not a main scoring guy for the team. Big deal. He still is, a guy that, again, can clearly be a very important contributor, just like Hawk is, just like, even Davion Mitchell trading for him, even Pell Larson, and, you still assume Jovic as well, too, but I guess it just was listed as coach's decision for DMP. And then, long-term, Casper as well, too, is a fun option. But, yeah, Bam Adebayo, what are we saying? Giannis era for Milwaukee. I guess it is the Josh Giddey era for Chicago. Again, it was the Zach LaVine, Jokic, DeRozan era for a second there. But now it's the Josh Giddey, and maybe it was the Kobe White era for a second as well. But now it's Josh Giddey. Now it's the Danny Wolf, Igor Denham era. But I guess Brooklyn, and I guess some of these bottom teams pause it'll be whoever they draft. Though Utah is in the Lowry Markkanen era. And I know that, hey, they're going to draft a very talented player if they're, well, I guess, the East is kind of dominating the top of the Tankathon ranking. So they're not going to get, Dembasto. Oh, they are at 4 right now. Hey, yo. So I guess they could get Caleb Wilson, but either way, if they were to jump up, say they do get Cam Boozer. Like, I guess Cam Boozer year 1 would be pretty impactful, and Dembasto as well, too. Who are missing Peter. I guess all of them would, in theory, be great year 1 players, but regardless, Markkanen's still a great player in the league. Markkanen's one of the 35 best basketball players, and on a given night, one of the 15 to 20. So is year 1 the guy going to be able to immediately, claim the team from Markkanen? I don't know. But even bringing in Jaren Jackson, this is the Lowry Markkanen era for this Utah team. Hey, we got to give him credit for this job that he's done, with the tanking and the acquiring of the talent. Hey, Sacramento, speaking of DeRozan, the Westbrook, DeRozan, they're in their DeRozan, Zach LaVine era. Hey, it is what it is. The Westbrook era. Every team's got to have their Westbrook era. Shout out. Make no mistake, if the Spurs don't trade for Giannis in the offseason, Westbrook, we'll sign Westbrook. It is what it is. Just a guy attacking the basket down. Sees different methods in 25-26. But, I would love to have Westbrook on the Spurs for a year. That'd be great. He should definitely do a tour of the NBA. The Steph Curry era for the Warriors. And the Pelicans do have to be in the Zion era. I know, is it like the Kawhi situation? How can you be in the Zion era when Zion plays, the 26 wins? When Zion plays 26 games, oh, we got him. A year. You got to give him credit for the games that he's played this year. But, regardless, the moves that they have made on the team have been kind of dictated by him being there. So if that doesn't define it being an era, then again, I don't know what it is. Dallas, obviously, in the Cooper Flag era. But, Could have been in the Doncic era. And then Memphis, transitioning out of the Ja Morant era, even if it was a little bit a little bit less successful maybe than you had wanted it to be, but it is still, it still was an era, still some iconic moments, still, at this point, the best dunk that anybody's had on Wemby'S. And I guess if nobody trades for him, it'll still keep going. So, there's no, shout out Memphis. Ja Morant and the basketball team, will still be there in 2027, is our hot take. And we have, I guess, Portland in the not Scoot Henderson era is unfortunately what it's titled, but the Donovan Clingan era, they are kind of errorless as well, too. Again, really, they're the best errorless team in the league because they are a really good team. I guess Phoenix is one spot above them in the league. But again, they have Devin Booker. So at the end of the day, this run, the franchise is defined by Booker. The Blazers don't have that guy. I guess they have Dame back now. I forgot about that. But he obviously hasn't played and hasn't been there the last couple of years or even played like that many games the last couple of years. Because how many games was he playing at the end there in Portland? It was still his team. But was Lillard making like an all-NBA team with like 45 games played? Hey, yo. It's just like, okay, 65 games. Lillard's, he's never making an all-NBA game. It is what it is. Oh, no, 29. Okay, he wouldn't have been that low. I guess 66, 67. 67, there it is again. Hey, yo, it's scarring us tonight. It is what it is. But he was, 29 games in 21-22, I guess 58 games in 22-23. But I guess his third season removed from Portland. And again, Portland being a major contender, a couple more years from that as well, too. But there we go. There's era check for the 2025-2026 season. So there we go. Are we going to sim the playoffs, chat? Hey, yo. We finally made it. We'll sim the playoffs. I guess we've made it to the next game in the Buffalo Braves playlist as well, too. And they don't have the powder blues on anymore. They're in the Oriole colorways that we were talking about earlier. And I think they're playing the Celtics. So this might be the last series that McAdoo's in for this year. It is what it is. I don't know if they get past this round. But either way, we'll keep you updated. We'll keep an eye on this, Blazers-Suns game as it starts. But don't go anywhere because we're going to sim the rest of the play. IT's cutting the mic early, chat. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. After the break, we're going to sim the playoffs right after this. All right, chat, we are back ready to sim the 2025-2026 NBA playoffs. I guess if we actually get the capabilities to do that up here. Let's see what we've got going on. But we do have to shout out John Witherspoon as well, too, in this episode of Martin that's on as well. Obviously, rest in peace to the legend. Anytime he is on screen, we have to shout him out, one of the icons. But it makes us want to go and watch Boomerang just for his cameo as well, too. One of the great cameos that anybody has ever. One of the great, I guess, is cameo the right word? I guess performance. I guess we're in TV show mode right now because, TV show's on. But one of the great supporting, there we go. One of the great supporting roles that anybody has ever had. I mean, again, the Rewatchables obviously has their Dion Waiters Heat Check Award as well. So that's like a little less than a supporting guy. Supporting still like main guy in the plot. Like, again, like Martin in that would be supporting. Where it's like he's a consistent presence throughout the movie, but is obviously not necessarily who the movie is about in full. But John Witherspoon being a guy that, is in like one or two individual scenes. Or like really, one scene in the movie being the dinner scene. Is he anywhere? Are they anywhere else in the movie? I mean, if they would be, they would obviously, it would be iconic. It would have stand. I can't imagine we would have forgotten it, but, I guess, do you want to say that that's like a couple of scenes, that dinner scene? But, again, it's like one part of the movie. But either way, shout out, iconic legend of comedy. So rest in peace, John Witherspoon. But anyways, we actually have to sim the playoffs here. I know we still have some play-in games undecided. We have the Blazers and the Suns at halftime right now. So this will be winner advances into the 7th seed. The Blazers, the true 7th seed, or I guess it says 7-8, but we're reading it listed the other way around. Suns, the 7th seed, I guess, are the team that is losing at the half. So we'll see if the Blazers are able to claim the 7th seed away from the obvious 16 at the half, chat. 7 for 11. Hey, yo. Shaden Sharp, what has he got right now? 3 for 4. You love to see it. I mean, 75% from the field is great, but a controlled amount of field goals is, equally great as well, too. We love to see both. Both efficiency and control from our guy Shaden Sharp. Devin Booker 6 for 10 and Jalen Green 8 for 14. So I mean it's an offensive battle right now, as you see. What are the percentages right now? 56% from the field for Phoenix, not as successful from 3, 33%, but 50% from the field for the Blazers, 44% from 3 there. So yeah, Advia 16, Drew Holiday 14, back in his bag a little bit, 4 for 9 for the play-in, chat. Ayo, the Drew Holiday stepping back in the time machine. You love to see it. So we'll see who is able to advance here. Of course, the Clippers and the Warriors are the other play-in team in the West. And what do we have? Orlando and Philly as the other play-in team in the East. So that'll be the winner advances game there. And, the matchup of opportunity of Detroit or Charlotte, Detroit or Celtics is, of course, interesting sort of thought process. Would you rather there? But it looks like we would potentially have, I guess, do we sim the play-in matchups? Do we have to pick them, chat? Hey, yo, it is what it is. So we're going to go with we do know that Orlando loves to just do the opposite pause of whatever they're supposed to do. If they're supposed to win a game against Boston when Boston benches all their guys, they lose that game. If we go into a play-in game thinking that they're going to lose against Philly, then they're probably going to win that game. At noon, though, is Orlando going to win a play-in game at noon? And they could still be the 8th seed as well, too. I think we've maybe said that this is going to happen before. This is recalling that this is our plan of attack for the Orlando Magic playoff run, is they do go 1-1, but still make the playoffs in the play-in picture. So we'll have Philly as the 7th seed. But that means Orlando's going to lose to Charlotte? Oh, no, we'll have to say Charlotte is going to be the 8th seed. It is what it is. Orlando's out of the playoffs. Sorry. And they are I guess we're just going a vibe of the team. Like Orlando already feels like the team that would make more off-season adjustments than Charlotte, at least maybe in a different mindset. So, and they might be in that, regardless of what happens in round one of the playoffs. It's because they're the 7th seed in the 8 seed battle, not because of whether or not they would make the playoffs, just in general. But, again, maybe that kind of vibe seems like just why not just miss the playoffs in general. We don't need you in the first round if you're going to be not together as a team next year, is essentially the thought. No disrespect. But, it's a different thing if you're not going to be together because everybody's going to be overpaid because you win the finals versus, you underachieved as well, too. So we'll have Charlotte as the 8 seed in the East, and then Philly as the 7 seed in the East as well. And then we'll see if we get proven wrong here over the course of this game. Do we go with Booker for the win? I don't know. I think maybe the Blazers. It's at home, though, for Phoenix. We'll give Phoenix the home court advantage, even though it hasn't mattered in the first half here. They are down. Only by 3, though. So Phoenix wins the second half here, and they're the 7th seed. I guess it doesn't really matter. The Spurs got either one. And then the Blazers versus the Warriors. The Blazers versus the Clippers. That Clippers-Warriors game. Steph versus Kawhi. Steph, one of the most iconic play-in players that we've ever had. Hey, he's battled LeBron. He's battled Kawhi. He's really battled the best the league has had to offer. And that's a tough one. But Pods, he's been playing okay as of late. If Kawhi is cooking, you would think Kawhi would be able to maybe win that game. But Steph has been playing really good, and they've been, of course, containing his minutes a little bit since he's been back here at the end of the season. So maybe we go Steph in a full game, is able to win a play-in game. Can Steph get to the 8th seed against the Oklahoma City Thunder? Not the way he wanted his season to end against OKC in round 1. And, the Blazers missing the playoffs would be unfortunate as well, too. That'd be a little bit of a bummer. Phoenix, honestly, just being in this matchup is like, why do we have the play-in? We were having such a good year. We were supposed to be in the playoffs, and now all of a sudden we're out of it. But, again, they were supposed to be like a tanking team. So them being, I guess, a playoff-level team in the draft and not getting to play in the playoffs would be kind of fun as well, too. But I guess we'll say, we will say that, like we're saying, they'll win this second half here. So, and just basically just picking Devin Booker to close it out. It is what it is. So we've got Suns as the 7th seed, and then Golden State as the 8th seed in the West to round out the playoffs. So Golden State versus Thunder. We pretty sure we know what's going to happen there in the sim, but let's see. We need to sim 7-game series, OKC, I guess 25-26. Here, let's see if we get the years right. I guess we're down to, historical sim, of course, always, but for this specifically, OKC versus Golden State. And here, we'll reuse, of course, this 7-game series thing a couple times. Sure, we'll copy and paste. Okay, let's see. If by any chance Steph Curry can pull this out, pause, if he's healthy, can he even still steal a game? I don't know if that is possible, but, he could still have fun. And it could still be entertaining series. Game 1, 128-102. Game 2, Steph Curry catches fire. As I say, OKC playing with that fervency, if that's the correct way to use that word there. And Draymond, I guess. Jalen Williams hits a clutch dagger over Draymond. Oh, chat. Draymond just getting toasted. It is what it is. Their lack of depth shows. So they win by 2. Golden State gets one in overtime, though. Game 3. Jimmy Butler makes his return. Is that on the table? Hey, yo. Gemini, are they updating us with the news? Let's see what's going on here. Does he want to go back to Golden State? Let's see. Announces his own injury status ahead of play-in game. Shows off progress. Sends Sham a message. Trolls fans with doubtful status, I guess, for play-in game. Did he tear his ACL? I wonder when an ACL tear in his right knee. February 2026? Hey, yo. I don't think he's going to be making his return. It is what it is, 9 weeks after injury. 2 months ago, tears his ACL on this play. Yeah, Jimmy Butler's cooked, chat, for this year. Unfortunately, he will not be making his return in Game 3 of the playoffs. There is false hope there. The only way they win a game, though, is if Jimmy Butler has a better return than Jason Tatum. And, just, I guess, basically just plays on one leg is literally what has to happen. Pause. Which, I guess, maybe his passing, I don't know. 28, 9, and 4. The 4 steals, maybe a little bit much, but Game 4, Game 5, OKC, 4-1, no question about it. Easy enough, respecting Steph enough to give him a win. But again, only because he had Jimmy Butler returned. So we've got Lakers versus Rockets up next in the 4 versus 5. And this, again, no Luka and no Reeves, if I'm not mistaken. I know we did our playoff fear rankings, but they were saying Reeves is out till May. So that's a, pretty bold assumption that you're going to be playing basketball in May. But how long's the first round go? I don't know, if they know of anything that would potentially delay the. Obviously, that was April 3rd. His status for the playoffs remains uncertain. So I guess according to Basketball Reference, no official timeline at this point. But either way, if they're both out for round 1, that's going to be a sweep. So again, we'll see if we get a miraculous ChatGPT return for Austin Reeves a month early. But it might be a little too much. Yeah, both injured. Okay, we are fortunately up to date there. LeBron only throwback. So LeBron and Steph just having to unfortunately get buried in round 1 carrying their teams is, a tough way to see them go at this stage in their career. And, we'll give them that reason to unite when LeBron goes to Golden State in the offseason. It'll be fun. But game 1, 118-105. Game 2, 112-109. Okay, so they are able to steal that game. LeBron, 32, 12, and 11. Imagine. 41-year-old LeBron, 32, 12. He just did, go for a pretty fun stat line. But again, anything at the end of the regular season here is just a different level of, the other way of playoff basketball. We're just not really that close at all, and it's still impressive. Just in a general scale, obviously. The man's 41, dominating just NBA games at any point is awesome. But if we're talking about, game 2 in the playoffs, again, round 1, Houston, I'm sure it can happen. But Houston specifically, athletic, switchable, we'll see if it's a situation for him to be able to, have a game like that. But that would be awesome to see that happen, though. So, hopefully it does. Game 3, 125-101, Rockets cooking. I guess Rockets 114-110. Rui Hachimura, 26. Durant hits the shot. Oh, chat, another Durant 3 from the left wing. He got him, LeBron, twice in the finals there and then gets him again. Imagine. That would be a bummer for the LeBron legacy if Durant kind of has to get him in this finals. Again, it's the opposite of, I guess it's not the opposite because Durant does have the better team once again. Then it's like, LeBron's cooked. Like, they're just in the little, not to be rude to the rest of the Lakers, but LeBron's in the no chance category. And again, it's a different thing. Like, they don't have their main guys. If Luka and Reeves were out there a little bit, like, they had that one year where Love and Kyrie both got hurt in 14-15. So maybe you could compare it to that more so than 17 and 18. But I guess, 14-15 obviously didn't have Durant, if that's the comparison. But either way, if Durant is undefeated versus LeBron in playoff series, that would be tough. They didn't have like a Phoenix matchup, did they? Hey, 3-0 versus LeBron in playoff series. LeBron needs to win this for the legacy. Hey, is anybody 3-0 over Jordan in playoff series? Do we have to go back Larry Bird? And then Larry Bird retired before Jordan could ever get a playoff win? I guess here, let's double check. Jordan playoff series here. We can definitely just look those up and scroll through those real quick and see. I don't know exactly what year Bird retired as well too, but I think 90, like 92, 91, 92, 93, somewhere in that range. 88? No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that early. Ayo, because he was just winning the title in 88 or around that time. It was a little bit of a sudden sort of leave of the game. Obviously, him and Magic both. But he was, I guess, to get the playoff series loaded up here. Lost twice to Boston. And then, yeah, just, I guess, didn't get matched up against them again. So, yeah, I guess technically, he hasn't had anybody that he has lost 3 times to. And again, Detroit, 1-2 losses. Oh, 3-2 Detroit? But he did get the revenge over him as well, too. So, like, that would be the thing is, does LeBron have the opportunity to get revenge over Detroit? I was going to say, where was it? There it is, 90-91, and then winning the finals the next year versus Lakers. Though, again, all-time, I guess, versus Isaiah Thomas, he does have a losing playoff record. Hey, yo, so, okay, it's not totally unfair to LeBron if he, Kevin Durant, in better basketball situations every time, won the playoff series. But Game 5, once again, DeAndre Ayton, 18 and 15. Didn't expect that, but the Rockets, it looks like, take Game 6. Durant, 29 and 7, and the crazy, of course, efficiency, as you would expect, as well, too, would be a part of that performance. But then that gets us to the next playoff series, Denver versus Minnesota in the first round. Of course, a rematch of what we had seen in the past with Jokic versus Edwards. But this early, these stakes. I mean, again, these name matchups, to have LeBron and Durant and then Jokic and Edwards in the first round is pretty fascinating. That is for sure. But yeah, the 3-6 so far. Game 1 goes to Denver, 122-115. Jokic, a 28, 14, and 12. Nuggets, 32 assists on 45 shots. Cam Johnson, 5 triples as well, too. Of course, Edwards gets his 34. Edwards for 41 in Game 2, and then Murray with a 12. A little bit of a stinky Murray performance, it looks like. Whoa, the stinky Murray is crazy, but 4 for 17 from the field. Either way, Edwards with 12 points in the fourth quarter, and they get Game 2, 110-107, and Game 3 as well. Outscored Denver 18-6, second chance points. Randall, 29 points. Naz Reid, 4 threes off the bench, and that would be a very good Denver or a Minnesota formula over Denver. I mean, Minnesota has, of course, the superstar that would be consistent, and then sort of the who else could be the next guy stepping up. But if Edwards is going to be, 35 a game, whatever, then, in that playoff time, you can get away a little bit with, okay, tonight Randall's having the number 2 performance game. Naz Reid's having the number 2 performance game. Again, everybody just can't suck on the same night. Pause. Whoa! But as long as you have, again, it's just the math. Edwards gets you your 30, so as long as you have one guy that's getting you 25 and then one guy that's getting you 18 to 22, you're probably going to be in the game if it's like a fairly efficient performance from any of those players. So, Randall with like a 30-point performance in one of the playoff series would definitely be, a way that obviously, you definitely would hope that at least one. But Denver, Game 4, Murray with 33 in the sim. Denver's 58% from the field in general would be insane. 60 for 30 from three-point range. And then Denver stealing Game 5, 112-104, a little bit more of a score difference, I guess. Well, no, they kind of cooked him in that last game as well, too. 131-118. The series is turning. Jokic only takes 12 shots, but controls the game through gravity. Christian Braun and Peyton Watson provide the energy off the bench. And then Minnesota in overtime, Game 6, 124-121. Multiple round 1 overtime games. This is legendary round 1, apparently in the projections. And it would not be a surprise, of course, at all, if this series went to 7. I would say of the Denver Minnesota matchups. This one could be Denver in 6 for sure. I guess winning in the Minnesota for game 6, would be tough. And I guess, they haven't simmed in overtime, so they almost did it. Edwards with 48. Jokic with 38 and 18. Ayo. And then Denver in a game 7. Oh, Minnesota 17 turnovers to Denver's 8. I guess we don't have Edwards stats for the series, but, close enough. Aaron Gordon locks up Edwards in the final minutes. Kevin Love style over Steph Curry. So Denver advances. Denver versus San Antonio. Hey, yo. Again, Jokic, Edwards, Luka, they're all terrifying in the second round in their own way. It is what it is. So I guess, there was some controversy about whether or not you wanted to let Denver win the game in that last game in the regular season. Again, hey, yo. Individually, all those players are great. Jokic can definitely be on a bit of a different level, but like we did the player rankings, I don't know. I'm kind of equally as afraid of either of those guys. In the respectful, the Spurs are a contender and can definitely win a series versus over those teams, but both those guys have the ability to steal the series equally as well too. So, either way, Minnesota as that 6th seed is still going to be the terrifying factor there, and almost was able to get Denver in this sim. Hey, yo, 7 games, close enough. But San Antonio versus Phoenix, we almost forgot who they were even playing in our hypothetical. I guess we will, for the formality, hey, yo, we will at least, go through and get an official record for what is going to happen for this series. But I think that, we have a pretty safe projection, and at least another, again, sort of rivalry historical series as well too, San Antonio versus Phoenix. There's going to be some good cutaway highlights that the TV networks can go to over the course of the games. San Antonio, oh, chat, ruins them in game 1, 118 to 92. Game 2 a little bit closer, but still able to win. So 2-0 in San Antonio, you love to see it. You love to see it. Dylan Brooks gets into heated exchange with Fox, resulting in double technicals. Hey, yo. The Suns lead by 5, 2 minutes left, but Wemby hits a trailing 3 and a putback dunk to steal the game. The offense from Wemby. You love to see it. 34. Return. Devin Booker for 42, including clutch mid-range jumper over Wemby. Phoenix bench outscores San Antonio. So Devin Booker gets 1 game by 2 points, I guess. Game 3 in Phoenix in front of the home crowd. Can't be denied. You do have to respect that. Game 3, San Antonio, 18-point win. Taking care of business. De'Aaron Fox takes over. What would we say? Fox uses his speed of play. 38 for Fox? Oh, Chad, if Fox puts up 40 and 9 in a playoff game in round 1, I mean, hey, yo, I guess Giannis, make no mistake, no trade happening there. But San Antonio hits 18 threes, and I guess takes that win pretty comfortably. And then game 5 as well, too. Lock it in. Oh, chat, Wemby records a 5x5. You love to see it. Historic playoff performance. A 24-12, 6, 5, and 7? We'll see if it happens. Are they giving us info? Use this for your FanDuel props. Hey, yo. I bet Wemby plus 7 blocks. You bet that enough times in a series, you're probably going to be profitable if he gets that in one of the games. But Wemby, like 5+ assists, would be a sneaky bet one of the games as well, too. I'm sure you could get pretty favorable odds there. So, boom. San Antonio 4-1. Wemby 26.8 points a game would be fantastic. But round 1 for the West is complete. Let's go for the East here. We had Detroit versus Charlotte was the team that we have advancing as the and like we said, Brandon Miller as well too. Pause. But what do we got here? Could be. I think this could be a 6-game series. This could be a 6-game series. Game 1, not too encouraging, I guess, for Charlotte. A 22-point loss to Detroit at home. But the first playoff game for those guys, and Detroit ready to go, the 60-win team, they are going. They're going to be excited to play in front of the home crowd when that matchup gets going there. Cade with 14 points. Hey, yo, 64-38 in the paint. Okay, a closer formula. We see the formula. Game 2 gets a little bit closer. Asar with the defensive battle in that one. Charlotte steals Game 3. Classic, classic. You love to see it. Concanupple finally steps up. It's been a minute. 28 points. Charlotte 19 threes as a team. And then I guess Duncan Robinson, maybe not his finest performance in Game 3 as well too, but once again get cooked in Game 4. Unfortunately, these just aren't going to be close. It is what it is. Detroit regains their composure. Cade plays bully ball against Charlotte's smaller guards, posting 35. Ivy adds 24. Ivy chat, hey yo, wait a second. I don't think this is up to date. So is that going to change the score? I think if anything, Detroit just sweeps them or scores more in some of these games. So who is that? Dennis Jenkins? I mean, Dennis Jenkins probably more likely to add 24 anyways than Jaden Ivey. It is what it is. I guess Jaden Ivey is a free agent, so could they sign him for a playoff run? Hey, yo. It is what it is. Then Charlotte couldn't even break 100 points in Game 5. Hey, yo, so all those good vibes we were talking about, maybe they should have lost in the play-in game. You don't want to get wrecked in round 1 like this sometimes. It is what it is. But I guess Hawks versus Cavs, the Jalen Johnson playoff era in Atlanta begins. Of course, Mitchell and James Harden. Hopefully it's updated here. We may have to resim this one if James Harden is not necessarily mentioned as the main guy. Okay, there we go. I figured it'd be listening to us. So it's got James Harden locked in as a part of the team. High-octane scoring. Arguably the best offensive backcourt in the East, with Mitchell and Harden. I guess in the name value of it is definitely there. I guess, and what do you say? Tatum and Brown don't necessarily count as a backcourt, with Tatum being, more of a front court player. Pritchard and Jaylen Brown, I don't know, but Swiss Army knife, Jalen Johnson. We got Kristaps Porzingis chat. Hey yo. He's, of course, in Golden State, so that's going to be irrelevant to this sim. It is what it is. But we got Cleveland takes Game 1 in Cleveland, 115-102. A good three-point shooting game, it looks like. Atlanta, Game 2 by 3. What do we get? A Jalen Johnson stat line here? A Jalen Johnson triple-double. If Jalen Johnson puts up a triple-double in this playoff series, that is a win for sure. 25, 12, and 11. Win or lose the game. That type of performance would be awesome. And I guess they do need Porzingis to get traded back because he blocks Mobley. And it seals the upset. So I guess Kongwu, who's going to be able to... Who will possibly play the Porzingis minutes? In this role here, getting the block. I'm not sure. But somebody's going to have to step up and play defense. Because obviously Porzingis is not there to do it anymore. According to what they're saying here, but the highlight factory, the quote highlight factory is rocking. Trae Young, he's back, chat. Hey, yo. Buddy Hield comes off the bench, hits 5 threes, and the Hawks take control of the series. Trae Young didn't play a game for the Wizards, didn't like his experience. He says he wants to be back in Atlanta. Atlanta liked the playoff run what they had with him, so I guess they'll take him back. Pause. But, Atlanta needs Trae Young, apparently, in this one. It is what it is. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been a consistent 20-point-a-game scorer. So maybe we'll just say that is the Nickeil Alexander-Walker performance in this playoff series. And now they're all of a sudden up to 2-1. The bench scoring 18-0. And could definitely see Cleveland being down. Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Johnson playoff battle. Hey, yo, 44 for Mitchell and 30. Right now. Hey, yo, I want to see this matchup. I guess we're going to need to just be patient and let the era play out. It is what it is. But Cleveland in Game 5, 112-98. Do we have another 7-game series brewing here? Hey, yo. And then Atlanta, Game 6, 117-114. Trae Young again, 15 in the fourth quarter. But again, quote, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 15 in the fourth quarter. Minnesota just watching him, wondering if... What would that look like? I mean, Nickeil Alexander 20 a game with Edwards would be, obviously pretty terrifying there. But either way, maybe he is going to be the one that is able to carry him through here. And then, oh, maybe not, though, because Cleveland wins in a 104-101 low-scoring, gritty, low-scoring affair. Both teams show Game 7 nerves. Mitchell struggles early, but scores 12 straight in the fourth. Iconic Free Dawkins highlight segment, I guess, from Donovan Mitchell there. And then we get Allen grabs board, sinks free throws, the Cavs survive. Mobley 18, 14, and 5. So we do get a Cleveland versus Detroit round 2. Oh, chat, we've got Celtics versus the Knicks. It's just giving them both the win. Hey, yo, it's advancing us a little bit in our playoff simulation here, our playoff bracket, I guess. Oh, wait, we have Cavs versus Raptors. Oh, chat, we have to re-sim. We just simmed a playoff series that didn't happen. It is what it is. Tell Adam Silver our bad. We've just cost the league a lot of money by playing a fake playoff series. It's unfortunate. It's actually never happened before in the history of the league. They didn't know. They got the seedings wrong. And they sent the invitations to the wrong teams. It is what it is. So now we have to, I guess, more TV revenue, though? Is it a conspiracy from the league? Hey, yo. Oh, wait. So we said Atlanta. We got Cleveland. Hey, yo, we're going to sim another one. Okay, Cleveland versus Toronto. Here we go. This is the right series. We're back at it once again. Forget about Atlanta versus Cleveland, though it was a 7-game epic battle, and Jalen Johnson triple-double was good to see. But I guess I was going to say 3-0. Hey, yo. But that's, I guess, reminiscent of the LeBron era that they are mentioning there. So Cleveland round 1. Okay, Donovan Mitchell still putting up points. One of the sneaky, do you say great playoff performers that we've had? But not playoff performance, but one of the sneaky high playoff scores is the better, more specific way to phrase it there. But, either way, expect him to have good box scores going. And they take, Toronto takes game 2 close. Brandon Ingram, Raptors bench, 44 there. Emmanuel quickly outscores Cleveland's second unit by 18. Oh, Toronto's bench outscores by 18, stealing home court advantage. So we get game 3. Oh, chat, this is looking pretty similar to last time. And another triple-double. Scotty Barnes in the Jalen Johnson role this time. Not quite as many points, but still a 22, 10, and 10. Oh, and James Harden has 7 turnovers. You hate to see it. RJ Barrett. Who would have thought? Who would have thought when you traded for him back in the day that would have happened? And it wouldn't have been on New York. Hey, yo. And now the Knicks fans are complaining. I wish we had RJ Barrett. Hey, yo. But what's it say? Mobley comes up with 2 massive offensive rebounds that lead to James Harden threes. Survived Toronto rally late to tie the series. So in overtime, I guess we got 2-2. Cleveland wins game 5. 119-105, a little bit more comfortable there. Mitchell 34, Harden 26, so it's looking like a good Harden playoff series. And obviously Mitchell, his scoring able to make up for some of it there. Oh, the Raptors force a game 7. Hey, yo, they transition into a full court press that rattles Cleveland's rhythm, quickly has a microwave moment. So quickly important in the series, obviously 25 points. The Raptors 14 steals. Whoa. I feel like we're getting into playoff record territory there with the defensive production. So that would be a crazy, stat line performance for the Raptors to have from this roster here. But Allen and Mobley, 12 combined blocks as well, too, in Game 7. It goes the other way for Cleveland. And then Mitchell with 31. So Mitchell, 31 for the series, 48 a game. He might be winning the offensive battle for the round 1 just in general. So either way, Cleveland unfortunately is going to be at a disadvantage going into the next series because they played 2 series and Detroit has only played 1 on our fake sim. But I guess, yeah, now we actually have the right answer. It's Toronto that loses in round 1. So Iceman, I guess, unfortunately the Iceman seats, chat, it is what it is. They're not going to be around for, I guess, too many playoff rounds. So we'll see what happens first. Will the Raptors be eliminated from the playoffs or will Drake drop the album? What will happen? Will it be a second round series? And then it's like, oh, Raptors versus Detroit. But that would probably be one of the ones as well, too, if some upset were to happen. Again, you could see that similarity of Anthony Edwards in the same role. And I guess technically Rockets over the Lakers is a seeding upset of 5 versus 4. I guess we're saying the same for Raptors versus the Cavs. But I think there is, well, again, obviously a different perspective either way, though. The Houston's favored by 5.5. And maybe Hawks Knicks. I guess here let's sim it up and see what we got. Atlanta also, fresh off of their fake playoff series versus Cleveland. Now facing New York. No Trae Young this time, though, again, because he was traded for the Wizards. We'll see if the Gemini is able to get that right in this version of the sim. So the Nova Knicks out for game 1. 112-101. Jalen Brunson manipulates 30 points plus 14 in the second chance points for New York there. We've got Atlanta in game 2, though. I would, if you're New York, you just want that comfortability of being able to cruise through round 1. I know that everybody, again, we're looking at it. A lot of tough series if you're not necessarily like a 1 seed or a 2 seed. But either way, because you were supposed to be on that level in the regular season and still kind of are obviously in that tier, then you're probably going to be hoping as a fan base for that 4 or 5 game first round series. But it looks like Atlanta takes game 2 and game 3. Oh no, the Hawks shoot 52% from the field. Trae Young back at it again. He had to play just because it's against New York. That's the only reason he got traded. But they do have Kuminga, right? I guess, as a part of this team. Atlanta, though, in the lead. New York tying the series, a playoff low pace in game 4. Oh, an homage to Tom Thibodeau in honor of their old coach, a grinded out style win. Hey, yo. And then they're back on track game 5. So there we go. They made, oh no, Chad, another 7-game series. Atlanta and Cleveland, they just, they're pushing the playoffs. They're keeping the revenue going for the league, shout out. But New York does take the 7 games. So it is a close one as well, too. 101-92, the ultimate test of wills. The Knicks veteran composure wins out. Brunson puts on a masterclass in mid-range scoring, 34. And the Knicks defense holds Atlanta to its lowest point total of the series. Hawks youth shows as they miss 8 free throws in the fourth quarter. Oh, chat. You hate to say it. We won't bring up the name that Orlando fans, we won't remind them, but we all know. We all know. It is what it is. 93% free throw percentage for New York here on paper. So there we go. We do end up having New York versus Boston as the matchup. So, okay, to round out the rest of the bracket after the first round future fortune tellers have been revealed here, we do have Houston, of course, versus OKC as the Western Conference round 2 matchup 1. So let's see if by any means, once again, we said it seems like the path is there, though, obviously San Antonio's got a little bit more of a difficult run just in terms of the matchup with either Denver or Minnesota. Again, either or. But Thunder, we're setting it up here, versus Durant, the reunion. Kevin Durant playing his old team in a playoff series would be, again, speaking of the fun footage, I don't know what the boos would be like, what the homages would be like. That would be a very confusing, emotional series. That is for sure. OKC 118-102. I mean, Houston has played OKC well a little bit in some of these games, but Dort holds Durant to 8 for 21, SGA 33. OKC uses 15-0 third quarter run to put the game away there. But Houston in overtime for game 2. Houston adjusts by playing through Sengun in the high post. He shreds OKC, blitzes, finds Reed Shepherd for 4 threes. In overtime, Durant hits vintage pull-up jumper over Jalen Williams. He's like, not yet, Youngblood. I guess they do have their title that, unfortunately he was never able to bring to OKC. But either way, Sengun, 24, 13, and 11. Playoff triple-doubles all over the place. You love to see it. Oh, and another version of the team going up 2-1. So Houston in this case goes up 2-1 over OKC as well too in a 2-point win. Amen Thompson 18 points, 12 rebounds, 5 steals in this game. OKC though, this is their not good 3-point shooting game of the series. It looks like 9 for 34. So if Houston is able to steal one where OKC is obviously shooting threes well, then you are probably going to get that one that you're going to be a little bit cold. But they're back 131 to 112 in the next game. Game 4. Game 5, 115 to 104 gives them a 3-2 lead. And then, Chad, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed, according to the Gemini, that they would have forced a Game 7? It seems like a pattern has formed. We've had the same series 3 times in a row, but hey, it could happen. It could happen. Durant with 41 and 8, and then OKC winning in Game 7, 122 to 109. Shea with 40 and 7. Chet 22, 14 and 5. So Shea 32, just barely beating out Donovan Mitchell. Pause. For, I guess that was round 1 MVP. This is now round 2 MVP. So setting the bar, I guess, for round 2 MVP. We'll see, I guess, Donovan Mitchell. You're up next a little bit later. But we've got, chat, here's where it gets a little bit nervous. San Antonio versus Minnesota in a 7-game series, 25-26. Is there any way that Edwards is going to, do the, we'll say the mini impossible, just to discredit it a little bit, but also the impossible to big up our guy, right? Pause. Like, it's obviously going to be very difficult to get past this Spurs team in the playoffs. Minnesota won the regular season series 3-1. So we're over here gloating about the Spurs versus OKC. Maybe Minnesota fans are viewing us the same way, where they're like, I get that you might be the better team in theory, but we're not necessarily scared of you because of what we saw on paper already. So hey, understandable. We get it. We respect Edwards, but I think locked in, we should be good to go. Game 1, San Antonio 8 points, Wemby 32 and 7. You love to see it. Edwards 35. Sohan, hey yo. Okay, so we'll say maybe like Keldon Johnson for some, fast break dunks. It looks like Minnesota in Game 2. Chat, if Minnesota takes a 2-0 lead, but San Antonio wins a Game 7, we're not going to complain. But we may have, just got into a rut, I guess, with what the playoff series are. It is what it is. Anthony Edwards, 42 points in this game. Naz Reid silences Spurs crowd. Oh, chat, that just made my stomach drop, and it hasn't even happened yet. Hey, yo. But Naz Reid can hit the dagger 3. That is for sure. There's the dagger 3 from the star, and then there's the dagger 3 from the Naz Reid role player, but who is very, very capable of having that performance, that shot as well, too. And they both hit, but hey, yo, that Naz Reid one hurts. It is what it is. Oh, and look at that. Who would have guessed? Minnesota takes a 2-1 lead in the series. A defensive slugfest. Wemby, Gobert and Wemby engage in Defensive Player of the Year showcase. Hey, yo, a playoff revival for Gobert. We didn't have Gobert on the list for legacy guys for this playoff, but if he gets a playoff matchup versus Wemby and, proves a little something, that would be shocking. But I guess it is a potential if they do obviously get past Denver in round 1. Fox 5 of 18. That 40-9 game wearing off real quick since it is a round 1 performance. There we go. Spurs tied up as you'd expect. Wemby 39, 11 and 4. So they're not going to give him the triple-double in this series. And then the Spurs take a 3-2 lead. So is there any way the Spurs can close this out in 6 in Minnesota and just get it over with? Hey, yo. We've had 17 straight series go to Game 7. We'll see if the Spurs, Minnesota, is the next one in line. But is this another 5x5? Wemby with 2 5x5s in this playoff run. He's got a 14, 13, 6, 5, and another 7 blocks. Hey, yo. Gemini, just make it 8. At least a little bit of difference. You can go 6, 5. There's a lot of numbers there. But I guess we'll see. Game 6. I'm already calling it. It's Minnesota. It is what it is. Minnesota, 2 points. Yes, sir. Edwards with 55. Hey, yo. Sohan, he hits a jumper over Sohan .8. So if it's not Sohan, does he miss the jumper? Does he miss the jumper? Because Sohan is one of those guys that people do hit jumpers over. So if it's Keldon Johnson, if it's Vassell, is there just a basketball karma that he doesn't make it? I don't know. But either way, we get another Game 7. Chat, I feel like now, just because of the formula, San Antonio's going to win. But again, either way, I'm not going to be upset. San Antonio 114-103. There we go. 0 turnovers in the fourth. You love to see it. So we'll see if we get a non-7 game series that doesn't follow the same exact formula at some point. But moving to the East anyways, Pistons versus Cavs, I guess, is sounding like a matchup that could definitely follow that way. But this has to be 6, right? If Cade is healthy and back playing, I don't know. If Harden, though, is 20, I guess, is he going to be a 25-12 guy? That would be the, obviously the deciding factor at some point. But we've got Game 1 going to Detroit, 118-104. Another, of course, dominant paint performance. But they are going to have the Allen-Mobley combo to at least throw it during there and make him work. Pause. Mitchell, 42 in Game 2. Cleveland wins Game 2 and ties it up. Once again, Jaden Ivey back off free agency, helping this team out. Harden, 9 assists. We've got Cleveland taking game. I'm just going to skip chat. Are we in a 7-game series? We are in a 7-game series. It is what it is. So we know what the formula is for these series at this point. We could just go now for Boston versus New York. And I guess the higher team's going to win, right? If we sim it. Let's see. I guess let's go New York versus Boston, because Boston is the higher seed here. So we'll see. Can we influence it by saying that New York is going to win this series by listing them first here in the sim? That could be the secret, but maybe it just knows it's just going to pick the higher seed in 7 games. Do we skip to the end? Let's do it. Oh, chat! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert, the trend has been broken, and maybe we did influence it by having New York there. It's not in 7 games. I guess just repeat from last year, because did New York win that in 6 last year? Of course, with Tatum getting hurt. Hopefully, I guess we don't want to say that, but, either way. Oh, and Porzingis is back on Boston. Hey, yo. So Porzingis has been on Atlanta and Boston in this playoff run, and I guess they've lost both series. So we now know that, and I guess, and he's actually on Golden State, and they might lose in the play-in game. So Porzingis, the sneaky, I guess, bad luck charm for this year, at least according to Gemini. We didn't say it. Gemini said it. So Boston, I guess, New York takes Game 1, 108-105, and New York takes Game 2, 91-90. So imagine New York stealing both games in Boston. I think that is what happened last year, right? And then it was 3-1, and then 3-2, and then Tatum got hurt, and then 4-2 after that. But Game 3 goes to Boston, 115-93. Tatum 38 points, a little bit of a vintage performance. We'll say Keita with 5 blocks here. It says Porzingis, but Keita could definitely step up and have the defensive 5-block performance there. New York takes the 3-1 lead, though, in Game 4, and that's when you start going, oh, no. Like, historically, of course, the odds are really up against us. In Brunson, 41-8. If Brunson goes all of a sudden just has now this legacy of destroying the Celtics, like, goes into that, Celtic Destroyer Hall of Fame, all of a sudden, ending a multiple series in a row. But Game 5... Derek White, I guess 34 is the reason that Boston is able to thrive a little bit. Maybe some garbage time points here, a 25-point lead. I think 8 triples, maybe 2 or 3 of those after it don't matter. But, hey, it looks like Game 6 is a terrible one for Boston. The Knicks leave no doubt. One of the most lopsided closeout games in MSG history. The Knicks hold the Celtics to 81 points in 25-26. How many teams have scored 80 points in a game this year? Hey, all the teams that were tanking in Boston in round 2 of the playoffs, apparently, is what it's looking like. Tatum and Brown, 11 for 39 from the field. Oh, chat, you hate to see it, but, I mean, you love the effort that Tatum gave when he, was back. But now the Boston fans are going to be like, is it all for nothing? Is it all for nothing? What does it mean if you can't get past this Knicks team? Is Tatum really the alpha dog that we think? Again, this is all the storylines that are going to happen if this is what the performance is. 81 points is brutal, though. I'm not going to lie. ChatGPT viciously breaking the cycle. So, New York versus Detroit in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and we've got OKC versus San Antonio in the Eastern Conference playoffs there as well. Fortunately, because of the way that the series have been simming, both of these teams have gone 7 games. So it's not like OKC has won their series in 5 and then San Antonio's taken 7 for theirs. Both of them are equal. Oh, Chad, we'll be unbiased and list OKC first, but unfortunately, I feel like that is going to influence the sim. But again, if Wemby gets past the Gemini simulation as the second listed team, and he gets past, I guess he didn't have to get past Jokic. He got past Edwards. So, or wait, did we just sim that the wrong way again, chat? Hey, yo, did Denver win the series? Oh no! So Jokic thought he's been racing horses this whole time. We've got to, like, John Wick style, call him back to the playoffs. Be like, oh no, actually you guys won that series. What are you talking about? You're not home yet. Hey, yo, I guess we're just giving them the win. Unfortunately, Jokic called it early. He won the playoff series, but forgot to show up to San Antonio. So it is what it is. I guess here, do we go back in the records? IT, what happened? What happened? I guess we just listed it wrong. It is what it is. Okay, there's a Eastern Conference one there. Cleveland, Atlanta. Let's see. I guess do we have to Control F here for Denver and see what we got? Oh, well, that didn't really help. Oh, because Garden. Hey, yeah, okay. I guess we'll be a little bit more specific about what is. Oh, chat. Hey, yo. We're paying for Gemini Plus all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. Here's the series. So what happened? Game 2. Did Minnesota win in Game 7? Review the tape. Oh, Denver. According to the official review. So don't tell Jokic. Don't tell the Denver fans. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter because San Antonio, I guess, won the series either way. So, at least you're not going to be jealous of the Minnesota fans. I know you're going to be like, Jokic could have won against Wemby in the playoff series. Hey, things happen. Things happen. It is. To make up for that, we will list, I guess, San Antonio second as penance. And then, OKC, well, that's the only reason that OKC will potentially win this series, would be the way that these teams are listed. Okay, chat. Oh, San Antonio! Game 1! Oh, chat. Ours racing like it's actually happening. Hey, yo. This is intense. This is intense. Somebody make a camping joke. Okay, OKC 122-115 in Game 2. Holmgren, the star of the show. He's like, hey, Wemby cooks me every time. I got to at least get one game in there every now and then. Oh, San Antonio, Game 2. We cook them. 128-102. Game 3. Oh, that's it. That is Game 3. Game 4. Chet. Hey, yo. Game 4, 109-108. A modern classic. SGA and Wemby trade buckets in the final 3 minutes. 4 seconds left. SGA drives for a potential game winner, but Wemby recovers for the spectacular chase down block. Oh, I'll be sending Billy Buckets the highlight every day. Hey, yo. Our Thunder fan friend. We'll definitely never hear the end of that. It is what it is. But Spurs escape with a 3-1 stranglehold. Let's not hope it's a historic, ChatGPT is getting historic here with the simulation. Okay, you expect OKC to take Game 5 there. But is San Antonio going to close this out in 6? No, chat, it's going to 7. It's going to 7. The momentum shifts. San Antonio struggles. Game 6, jitters. De'Aaron Fox gets cold. Oh, no. Jalen Williams contested corner 3. A stunning Game 6. Oh, no. He's tied 3-3. Okay. Oh, chat. There we go. A grueling, low-scoring defensive fight. The alien prevails. Wemby, 10 blocks. Oh, a triple-double with blocks. He literally just says, he snatches everything. A Terminator, Alien, Predator, every great 80s action movie franchise, Wemby just embodies them all. Rocky versus Dolph Lundgren. Hey, yo, is that 70s? I don't know. But 31, 15, and 10. San Antonio wins in 7. Okay, so... Oh, Chet versus Cade? It looks like ChatGPT with the spoilers. It's gonna be Detroit in this series versus the Knicks, is what it looks like. I guess we'll test it again here. We'll list New York first and see if that matters. But it is already told us that apparently it's going to be Wemby versus Cade. It's going to be a rematch of Tim Duncan and Chauncey Billups, I guess. You know, Jalen Duren as Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace both. Whoa. You know, pretty... If that's the comp, that would be tough. Okay, what does it say? The Pistons dominated the series 3-0, including a massive 118-180 blowout. Hey, yo. Okay, so there is a definite advantage there. Game 1 to Detroit. Boom. Oh, New York. Okay, they're back. Game 2. Another Thibodeau victory. So I know that, you know, shout out to Mark Brown for coaching the team. But, hey, yo. You do gotta, you know, I guess, you know, be inspired by the way that Tom Thibodeau was, you know, what do you say, coaching up the effort of the starters, at least beforehand. New York takes game 2 as well. 3 points. Oh, the Garden is a fever pitch. Hey, yo. I almost said shout out Queen Latifah, but that's Taxi with Jimmy Fallon. Hey, yo, fever pitch, Jimmy Fallon. I guess Jimmy Fallon's the one, you know. Well, Queen Latifah we should shout out. But Jimmy Fallon is the, I guess, the crossover in the Venn diagram there. Does Queen Latifah cameo in Fever Pitch? Do we need to go back and watch that? Is that Diaz? Cameron Diaz? Beckinsale? Who is that? Ayo. I guess Taxi's been on Tubi, so that's why we're thinking of Jimmy Fallon. Ayo. Shout out. Underrated actor? Whoa. Ayo. I didn't expect that to be the take that I had today, but hey, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. It is what it is. Detroit, Game 4. 126-118. And Game 5 as well, too. Karis LeVert, 35? Whoa! Inspired by the Michigan national title, has to prove a point himself. 35 by Karis LeVert would be insane. I don't know if we trust the sim, to be honest. Hey, yo. It is what it is. And then New York wins in Game 6. So Detroit does have to win in Game 7. Okay, it is Cade versus Wemby. Oh, chat, this makes me nervous. Should we leave it unsimulated? Should we simulate a charity event instead? Another Magic versus Bird charity event? Hey, yo. The most terrifying defensive force since Hakeem. Well, what about Tim Duncan? Hey, yo. Little respectful to Timmy there, but what do we got? Oh, Detroit, 112-105? Huh? And why does Detroit have home court advantage? Don't we have more wins than Detroit? Hey, yo. Okay, but either way. Detroit feed off the feral. Whoa, Pistons feed off the feral Detroit crowd. We didn't say that. That's what ChatGPT said. Cade Cunningham, 28-12. Duren apparently slowing down Wemby. I don't know about that. San Antonio by 4. Wemby enters God mode? Whoa. Hey, yo. I don't know. You know, I think Alien plays really well. It's fine. But 35, 14, and 8 from the field for his stat line. Spurs. Defense is suffocating in Game 3. Back on track, 124-108. Cade Cunningham, 15, as Steph Castle shadows him 94 feet. Ooh, the Steph Castle, is he going to get like the Kawhi Leonard defensive MVP for this finals? I guess, what do you say, Wemby had 35 in the last game, so the numbers are going to be there. Ooh, Detroit, though, Bad Boys DNA, making us, I guess, Boomerang and Bad Boys 2? I guess just a Martin Lawrence vibe for tonight maybe is the DVD selection. We'll have to see. But Detroit shows their Bad Boys DNA. They turn the game into a physical grind. What do we got? Cade hits legendary step back 3 over Wemby with 2.4 seconds left. Whoa. Really putting some arc on that jumper to get that one up there. It is what it is. Pause. But 34 with the game winner attached there. And then Game 5, Detroit takes a 3-2 series lead. Oh, man. Now all of a sudden we're like, wait, Cade Cunningham's going to be the best player in the league? Like, I guess Cade Cunningham, in a way, kind of would be the Tyrese Maxey of this year. Like, I know that there is, again, a assumed amount of competitiveness and respect that the Pistons do have from what they've accomplished this year. Again, winning 60 games, ayo, but we're still, obviously not putting Cade in, respectfully, just because of, time spent in the league and all that different stuff. He's still got to prove it, but, he's still, I guess we should say, working his way. He's still working his way into the notoriety of that tier 1 of guys in the league, and could definitely be like, wait a second, Tyrese Halliburton's going to be winning the finals, like, what's happening here? And again, obviously the injury slowed him down there, but it could be a, like, oh yes, Wemby, ascended to the top this year, like, pause, like, he's one of the best players in the league, year 3 he'll be around, but like, maybe Cade, it was his time to, whatever, who knows. But game 5, it's still a couple of games to go. Duration 3 hours and 14 minutes. Hey yo, so a real slugfest for that one. That's gonna be a real battle for the live stream there. That's gonna be crazy. Tune in. But the Spurs, okay, game 6. Wemby refuses to let the dream die, scores 18 in the first quarter alone, and then Sohan, for some reason, continues to just be a major part of this team. They shouldn't have traded him, Chad, according to this. Gemini says that he would be, an integral part of the playoff run. But, I guess, Keldon Johnson, like we're saying earlier, Harrison Barnes, any of the role player guys, Vassell, could be moving off the ball. So this could all work. Okay, here we go, Chad. Game 7 for the finals. I can't look. Maybe I won't look. Just to jinx it. I'll scroll and just show it to you guys. There you go. Hey, yo. We'll just watch this scene from Martin real quick. We'll just look over and watch that Bob McAdoo jumper real quick. And then jump over and look at the score for the game. Hey, yo. Okay, so let's see. I don't know what happened in the sim chat. I don't know. Here, I'll X out of the tab. Boom. Hey, yo. We don't know if the Spurs won the title. I can't risk it, Chad. I don't know. I can't jinx it, but you guys know. You guys know if the Spurs won the title or if the Pistons won the title according to the Gemini simulation. You guys now know what is going to happen in the playoffs. I know that, we're not necessarily pro spoiler alert on the pod, but I think that was important information that we did have to go through there and, see what's going on. Now you have a little bit of, I guess, gambling advice as well, too. I don't know if that goes as insider information. But look at that. We're already in the right trend. We said Phoenix was going to win this game, and looks like they're cruising right now. Denny Advia, though, no one's stopping him. He might single-handedly alone, match Kawhi or Steph in the next game. Hey, yo, 31-9 with 6 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. But Phoenix now, a little 11-point lead, starts to... 9. Okay, it's going to be close. Getting ahead of ourselves. Booker slowing down. 14. Jalen Green! The trade worked! 13 for 26. He's taking over the franchise. Hey, yo! They can trade Booker now. They can reset everything. Oh, chat, that's the drama that you get overreacting in these moments. It is what it is. We'll take off before we trade Booker before they even get out of the game. But Booker for Giannis? Giannis and Jalen Green? Is that a better combo? Oh, see what's happening. Hey, yo. It is what it is. We'll be back Friday, chat, reacting, initial start of the playoffs. We've got, all kinds of stuff here cooked up for the live stream for April, for May. It's going to be fun, and we can't look forward to hanging out with you guys here as well, too. So, did I say we can't look forward? Am I saying that right, chat? We can't wait to look forward to? What is that? How many different phrases can I smash together there? Pause. Hey, yo. We can't wait to look forward to. I guess we gotta get Gemini back up. Teach us grammar. Hey, yo. It is what it is. So I guess after we learn grammar, we'll be back Friday to hang out with you guys here on the live stream on the REMINGTOM YouTube channel. You can, of course, follow us on the podcast feeds or message us on the Instagram page as well, too, at REMINGTOM Pod over there. Again, shout out to the YouTube channel we were talking about earlier with their NBA highlights and their playlist. That's a great archive there for sure. It's have as a resource for, really, again, a great scope of history of the NBA. So that is awesome. Shout out to him. And we will be back Friday hanging out with you guys again. Look forward to seeing you.